Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 3 of SQ1. I am Dara Jackson-Mecco, and joining me for tonight's game between Royal Reapers and Glorious Gaming is Luca. Share Luke Davari as we go down the rosters. So on the side of Glorious Gaming it is Lizard in the top lane, Samus in the jungle, Purin in the middle lane, Whisper in the AD carry position, and Flicker in the support. And on the side of Royal Reapers we have Spam FF in the top lane, Pink for Panther in the jungle, Omena in the middle lane, Yoshi is cool in the AD carry, and his support is cleaned by Cody. Now, Royal Reapers, can they take down our would-be kings and reap the rewards of being tied for first place? Or can Glorious Gaming push themselves once more and go for glory as they're looking to go undefeated into week 4?
And for this game, Glorious Gaming, they are truly seeking glory with a royal path. So far, they have been performing in a super dominant fashion Samus has always been a state-of-the-art jungler. He has shown us how he can play around any single lane and still be a super carry for his team, despite having his signature picks banned. So on the side of G, we're gonna have to watch for Samus, and we're gonna have to watch out for the solo lane that they want to get a lead on in order to win the game. On the other hand, we have Royal Reapers. They have been, well, so far they are 3-1 into the regular season, but they have not been so clean in their games. They even dropped a game versus UE, which is a C-tier team. So it's
I knew you were going to mention that immediately when it was Royal Reapers 3-1.
Yeah.
I have to mention that the underdogs of almost every tournament that I've cast with UE in it, they lost to UE.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, yeah.
Yeah, Royal Reapers, they are an A-tier team. Everyone has high expectation for them. And despite all of that, they still haven't shown big performance. A game where you could say, wow, they really outplayed their opponents, out-macroed their opponents on that game. It's still... I'm gonna still put a question mark on this team. So this game, I want them to prove me I'm wrong. Prove me that they belong to the top of the board. Now for the pick and ban phase, we can see typical bans for now, like Sejuani, Lissandra, Cassiopeia, and Lucian, all banned away with power picks. Royal Reapers.
I love this bot lane. Morgana and Caitlyn locked in immediately. That is a disgusting bot lane. If they can hit the bindings, then you just put down the trap from the Caitlyn, you get a free headshot, you're bound practically forever. And the root from the Yordle snap trap as well, that gives more CC, so you've just so much time, and with the soil from the Morgana, you have so much damage coming out from that bot lane duo. And if they can lock down this Jinx, this low mobility carry, then they're going to do a lot of damage and great scaling on the Caitlyn.
I cannot help but agree. Usually, when you lock in the Caitlyn and Morgana, you usually wait for at least one champion of the bot lane locked in the enemy team. Now, Jinx Caitlyn, we have seen that matchup yesterday when CBA played versus... can't remember who. It was Vanguard on the Jinx. He showed a good performance overall. They eventually won that game. But we have seen the Morgana landing so many bindings onto the Jinx because she has no mobility. Lulu doesn't either, although she has a slight movement boost. So we have to watch out for the outplays in the bot lane. The bindings, that's going to be a key spell for the team. With the Sion and the Caitlyn, they have the follow-up, make a kill on a binding, so it's going to be a super important pick to watch. Now they have target banned Samus. We have seen the guy play a lot of Xin Zhao already in the league. Now, Karch's banned away is very interesting as he has not been playing the pick yet.
Mm-hmm.
And
you see, it's one of these meta picks where you're just like, it could be one of his pocket picks, it could be something that he could just take out of nowhere practically and just dominate. We've seen, it's the famous Yanko skill shot with the ultimate where in the middle lane, you're trying to take down the middle laner, but you can't really do it, you don't have enough damage, and then out comes the ultimate from the Karthus out of nowhere, and just anyone, whether it's a LeBlanc, whether it's a Vladimir, unless he has his pool, if you don't have a way out of it, you're just gonna die. So might as well take that off the board in case. And they haven't picked up their jungler yet, so it looks like they're still going for that counter pick, but Nunu and Willump will be picked up for the side of Royal Reapers.
Now they picked their jungler right now. It means that Camille and Hecarim are still available, and it's the Hecarim that is grabbed from Samus. His signature pick. His first champion solo queue is Hecarim. He's been disgusting on that pick in the qualifiers. Now that he has it, we're gonna have to how he executes the champion in that game, because you have a Morgana, so you cannot really go in without minding the enemy supports or frontline because of the black shield, right? Hecarim will sure hate this ability, and now Hecarim and Vladimir, it's a lot of flanking actually. So we're gonna have to see how GG are planning to play their team fights during this game.
Yeah, it's definitely all around this team fighting and the late game coming out from Or there as well, with the Corki being locked in. That's 280 carries. Corki, it's a little bit of a resident sleeper pick in the early game because you don't really do a huge amount. You just want to cull the wave. You just want to get your Trinity Force after you get your Sheen. Start to get these power spikes into maybe Rapid Fire Cannon, and with the changes to 80 carries and to crit items on this patch, remember, is patch 9.3 that we're playing on live. So the changes to the crit items might change a little bit. How Corki is itemized might change a little bit. His damage in the mid to late, but he's still going to hit like a truck. And turns out Urgot's going to be taken towards that middle lane.
Yeah, definitely. Like Urgot, Sion into Urgot has been a Sion favored matchup because Sion is one of the few tank top laners that can actually match Urgot's wave clear in the top lane without getting solo killed that much. Though Sion has been changed recently, and his damages on his Q has been gutted. So I was really curious to see how well does the pick do now into the Urgot. I hope that Rhea Reapers send the Sion in the mid lane, that they do some swapping with their players to maybe match to try to match the solo lanes matchup here, because Vladimir and Sion in the top lane, that's definitely something you don't want to, because Vladimir will be able to free farm the whole game and then eventually comes in with his items under his belt and one shot your Caitlyn and Morgana. You have also a Corki, so that's kind of a fragile mid backline. You do have the Black Shield, but just with Hecarim and Vladimir, it's a fair lot of backline threats. Urgot is very good late game frontline because he can tank so much with the cleaver, the shield, the Righteous Glory, and the Gargoyle Stone Plate. And eventually you have the Lulu that's here to peel your AD carry, deter her from dying in the late game. And we're talking so much about the late game because obviously with these composition, we are going to hit the 30-minute marks. That's where the team want to be in the game. Definitely, they want to.
I mean, you have a Caitlyn Corki, you have a Jinx, and you have a Vladimir. You definitely want to go past the 25-30-minute mark in the very least. But looking at these junglers, I think is one of the interesting bits of these two compositions. These sort of off-meta picks, especially the Hecarim, we've actually seen recently enough in pro play, the Nunu and Willem being taken up. But talk to me about this Hecarim pick. It's something that's a bit of a speciality for Samus, as you said, one of his most played in solo queue, but it's not something we really see competitively.
Hecarim is a pick that can flank very well. It's what he thrives to do. It's something that I assimilate to Gragas. Sometimes you have two Gragas playstyles. You have the aggressive one and the defensive one, where usually you try to peel and deflect any backline threat, or you can go for the flank and try to find the backline with the explosive cast. Well, Hecarim is almost quite the same as an offensive Gragas, because you are looking to find the flanks in the jungle, try to find a path, activate the Predator, and run towards the AD carry and try to disrupt the team fight completely. This is going to synergize super well with a Vladimir, because if they ever manage to get the vision control and rotate well enough with the side lanes, they can have a setup where they will be either pressuring a temporary objective like the Nashor, either baiting for a team fight versus Royal Reapers in a place they don't want to fight. And this will be the condition for GG to win fight. It will be vision control. Where do you want to fight? Where do you want to retreat? And how well they manage to cut off their retreat path with the 2 picks of Hecarim and Vladimir.
So where are we expecting this early pressure to come from Pink for Panther and from Samus? I'm kind of expecting it maybe to be towards this mid lane, a little bit towards the bottom lane, but for the Hecarim, once the binding and the Black Shield is available, it's kind of negating his gank potential. So is it going to be on to the Corki in the middle lane, or is it something more of a focus towards the top side?
Yeah, for Hecarim, I think definitely, as you mentioned, bot lane is going to be super hard to gank, obviously because Caitlyn and Morgana are very safe picks when they hit a few levels.
Mm-hmm.
So we could potentially see an early gank to set the balance off, maybe at level 1 or 2. Especially since Hecarim is starting on the bot side. But later into the early game, I'm thinking that Hecarim will most likely want to gank top side because Sion doesn't have that much of an escape.
Yeah.
And Vladimir, even though he doesn't have that much pressure in the early game, with the early damages of an Hecarim, I think that the 2 of them are going to be fine finding the damages to fold the Sion.
Well, Spam FF on the Sion is going for that more defensive start with the Corrupting Potion. He knows that he's going to be poked out potentially or usually by this Vladimir because of the range disadvantage, but does get a nice hit with his Q down the Decimating Smash, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that matchup in the top side. And started off with the Soil actually cleaned by Cody, and they're getting the early push in here in the bottom side.
One thing to add also is that Vladimir has been starting with the Doran Shield because Frost Mancy has been hotfixed. You won't see it again in EU at least, because the LCS complained about this meta. Mm-hmm. So no Frostfang, no Kleptomancy for Vladimir, even though it would have been super easy to pull off against the Sion. That's why you see him on the Doran Shield for now.
Yeah, it's something that all the pro players, both in NA and EU, are just like, no, just take this away. We don't want to see anyone actually just not farm up at all. And actually, funnily enough, over in the LCS in the United States, there was a game where Huni was playing Kleptomancy Zilean top lane, and there was a pause coming out from the enemy because they thought that their client had bugged out because it showed no CS for the top laner. So they legitimately went for a pause thinking, okay, there has to be something wrong with my client because it's showing Huni with no farm. But no, it was the Kleptomancy Zilean top lane. You just poke them out, have your Frostfang, and just get 200 or 300 gold above your lane opponent, basically doing nothing.
I'm actually surprised with how fast Riot responded to this change, and look at the damages. That's exactly what we were talking about, the synergy between Caitlyn and Morgana. Once you hit a Caitlyn trap or a Morgana binding, you can just unload all of your damages at once on the target, and it's such a lane bully. It's incredible. You get so much
push from it, and interestingly enough, if you put down the Caitlyn trap, then get the binding, once the Caitlyn trap goes off on an opponent, you can put down another Caitlyn trap so you can get it even longer than just getting the binding then a Caitlyn trap. But it's so oppressive, and you're still waiting for this Jinx to come online. We're 4 minutes into the game, so hasn't backed it all, hasn't even used the pot just yet, which is great for Whisper. But you're waiting for these power spikes to come online and actually using the lethal tempo, which we don't really see that much anymore. We're seeing more of the fleet footwork for the laning phase just to get a little bit more healing back. You usually go Bloodline as well on the Jinx, but it'll be interesting to see how this bot lane continues, and they're actually doing pretty well considering how oppressive this lane has been.
Look at the top lane though, because Samus is countering the whole Nunu top side, and now Nunu is investigating his camps. And he's just walked onto a wall. It's going to be a 2v2 in the top lane.
Yeah, he's using the biggest snowball ever, Will Sanguine Pool, just to get away. It cannot be slowed, but in comes the Hecarim, uses his E to get the charge. That's a lot of damage down. Force the flash out of Nunu and Will. I'm gonna try and use the Q to get some damage back. Doesn't have a lot of mana at this point, though he just has his Hunter's Talisman. So just gonna force the flash in the top side, but they did use the Ghost for it.
They decided to go for vertical jungle, some kind of vertical jungling, but Nunu decided to not recall and go topside, and he met the Hecarim there because their clean speed are quite equal in the early levels of the game. Nunu with the Tromp bite and Hecarim with his Q. So that's why they met in the topside. Now look at, if you pay attention to the vision laid down for now. In the top side, they have GG have a pretty accurate vision of where Nunu is on the map.
Mm-hmm.
They will immediately know if he's top side or not. So now the ward just faded away. At the same time that his Raptors respawned. Perun taking the occasion to ward a bit the river. Not spotting Nunu yet.
Should give him a little bit of vision around that Drake pit, and it actually seems like Sif, he's starting off on this Infernal Drake, if I'm not mistaken. And they're gonna sneak this away for free, it seems.
Yeah, Panther is doing the Infernal. Omina trying to buy him a little bit of space, clearing out the ward, laying down his pink. Samus seems like he has no idea that's what Panther is doing right now.
He either doesn't know or just doesn't care, and that is the Feral Drake picked up for the side of Royal Reapers, and they're starting off to a flying start. It will be towards the late game when they want to start carrying anyway, so that will help them out, and the gold is pretty much even. A little bit of extra gold in the pocket of Perrin in the middle lane, and same for Lizard in the top side. But if we look at the bottom side, Whisper is a little bit down on CS, but this is how we imagined the matchup would go anyway.
Yeah, also, I don't think that Samus didn't care about Nunu doing the Infernal Drake. I think that it has more to do with the fact that Nunu is so off meta that you don't see him that often in ranked. Mm-hmm. You cannot know the potential and the power of the pick, so you don't know that you can actually solo Drake at level 5. So I think that's a bit of misunderstanding, or maybe a lack of game knowledge, maybe. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just
so
like
a little bit of ignorance or innocence of the pick.
Yeah, you know, it's like when Mordekaiser became meta after the AD changes back in summer. A lot of players would start chain winning with Mordekaiser because it became super strong. And one reason that it was very strong is that no one knew what the pick really did at the time, so
that's why some off-meta picks are just so good. You just pick it up and someone's like, I have no idea how to play against this, so I'm just gonna sit back, relax a little bit, and try not to int my face off.
Yeah, you can just surprise your opponent playing around the forces of the strength of the pick. And that's a nice binding lane there by Cody. Some damages going down as well.
But you're already seeing the strength of this matchup in favor of the side of on the side of Glorious Gaming, because no, it is Royal Reapers. I completely mixed up in my head. On the side of Royal Reapers, because they're already almost 20 CS up on their lane opponents, and they're just gonna keep getting stronger and stronger. Imagine some AP and actually has to use the shield on himself, and Black Shield comes out as a response, but in comes the Hecarim, in comes the Nunu as well, in comes the teleport, Ace in the hole will be channeled, but first blood goes down onto Samus. Out comes the ultimate from the Nunu as well, gonna try and find the damage, but he's in a 4 versus 1 scenario. That's a double kill coming through for Samus. And now GG are just saying to their opponents, GG fellas.
And that is such a disaster for Royal Reapers. Pay attention to the vision in the bot side. They knew Hecarim was there, and yet they still lost the move. They invested Nunu in the bot side, but they disregarded the Vladimir teleport. and also they misjudged the power of Hecarim in the early game. That's what we talked about earlier. We said, hey, they don't have an accurate vision of they cannot judge properly the damages of a meta pick in the early game. Well, Hecarim did just that. We've seen they knew he was there, so Nunu came in, Hecarim came in. They thought they could take on the 3v3, but they lost it because they might have not believed that they have enough damages to win the 3v3.
Or they just... I think it is a little bit of ignorance. I think it's a little bit of lacking communication as well, because Nunu went in and he stayed in, even though Clean by Cody went down. He didn't really have the support of Yoshi is Cool, because Yoshi is Cool tried to get the ace in the hole in the back, and Hecarim was just coming in and just stomped all over everyone in the lane, used his Q, picked up a lot of gold in that bottom side, basically, as we saw, got the double kill, but that's gonna really help to snowball this Hecarim pick, and he has a 450 gold bounty now. He has his Sheen. He has his Bami Cinder building towards that Trinity Force. Once he hits that power spike, if he keeps this lead, there's not much that the Nunu can really do.
Yeah, also you can see that he's building for a Cinder Hulk later in the game, which is really good because since Hecarim needs to actually go into the backline, he needs a little bit of tankiness to do his job, to disrupt the team fight properly, and wait for the Vladimir to do his trick. So that's why he's building a bit of off-tank items here. We might see him later going for the Sterak actually, and for now, just some farming, gets the vision in the tree bush. And now he has learned from his mistakes. He knows that this Infernal Drake is up, and that Nunu can do it anytime.
Yeah, and they have a control ward in that pit. They're pinging their team, looking for assistance here in the bottom side. They know that they don't really have the pressure in the bottom lane, so they kind of have to try and find that way to take this Drake or to prevent the Drake from being taken. And they're actually going to go into the mid laner here. We'll use the Unstoppable Onslaught, get the knockback. That's a great knockback, and the Fear Beyond Death comes through and gets the kill in the mid lane, but in comes the Unstoppable Onslaught from Spam FF, and they're going to trade one back.
They are going to trade one back, but it's not that much even, because it's the jungler now that GG doesn't have any smites. Royal Reapers are free to actually get the Drake.
Smite is up for pink for Panther. He has his Om Nom as well. So he has two different ways to secure this Drake, so unlikely to go over the side of GG. Will be picked up by Royal Reapers. They're looking for the fight. Now use the Wild Growth, but Jinx is just going to go down. Yoshi is Cool picks up his first kill of the game, and they're looking for more here onto Flicker. Greatest snowball ever comes out, will not hit on anyone, and that's a double kill coming through for the AD carry.
Double kill for the Caitlyn. The matchup was already super tough in the bot lane. Now it's going to be even harder to hold the lane once that Caitlyn backs. He has the IE now. It's the first item again since 9.3 has been live. So IE on the side of Caitlyn, just the Berserkers and the BF Glaive for the Jinx is going to be unbearable. Caitlyn's going to push, and now you will actually have to call for your jungler to help you, because I don't really see how you're going to be able to hold the lane anymore against this Caitlyn.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard now that the Infinity Edge, as you said, is bought for Yoshi is Cool. Even though Samus had that lead in the early game, now 2-1, he has to try and be more proactive, try and get these kills in. And as I say that, force the flash out of the top laner, will get the knockback there with the kick, and Spam FF has to try and get away. He doesn't have his flash. Do they have the damage to secure him, though? Doesn't have the ultimate there. Will get the flash, though, and come through for the kill.
Some action in the bot lane as well. Look at the health bars. They are pretty low, and Morgan flashes with the binding.
Yeah, we'll use that ultimate as well. Won't connect onto anyone with the soul shackles, and I think I'm a couple of seconds behind you there, so I'm just going to speed up a little bit. But it's great the pressure that's coming out from this bottom side from Royal Reapers, but what can you do on the side of Glorious Gaming? They're coming in as the favorites in this matchup, and they're down by 2,000 gold.
They are down by 2,000 gold, especially because they decided to contest this Infernal Drake while their jungler was dead, and they ended up losing even more than they should have. Now they are trying to make up for it as Nunu in a little bit of trouble.
Just the absolute zero, and out comes the ultimate from the Urgot. Will secure it, and comes the teleport as well. They're looking for to try and trade one back. They're on the wrong side of the rift though. Sanguine Pool gets used. Samus is the target here. We'll go over to the AD carry. They're still looking to continue this fight. Perun gets the ultimate down onto him. Unstoppable Onslaught comes through. Perun gotta get the back away, as Royal Reapers will have to back away from this fight. They can't take any more. They don't have the vision.
They took a Rift Herald, but now all of their health bars are low. And it's another kill on the Caitlyn. It feels like this team fight is not an action for GG. They did trade 1-for-1, but now they are losing a tier 1, a mid lane turret.
Ooh, that was a nice block by Flicker.
And now on top of the turret it's also a couple of summoner spells blown as well. Whisper's heal and Perun's flash. Now Jinx is a bit more vulnerable, still has her flash though, so she will be able to dodge death at once. And talking about the kill, the Samus gank in the top lane right before the bot lane action, you saw Samus going into the top lane. You were asking me what can GG do about their current situation. Was their current situation, their current solution would be to rely on Lizard to carry them through the mid game, because Urgot sure is a strong pick, but it's not a pick that carried, right? It's a pick that does everything you need, but you still have you still need the win factor, the win condition, and Urgot doesn't really bring you that.
Right, hold on for a second as the Valkyrie gets used as well as the package, and he's just gonna peace out from the bottom lane. He doesn't want to take any more of this, and Spam FF is actually looking for it to continue the fight, but when he doesn't have the backup of the Corki, he can be kited out forever by Whisper on this Jinx if he isn't careful. So nothing really going to happen in Spawn side. Did use the Rift Herald. Didn't really get much damage or any plates because it is 17 minutes into the game. So a bit of a lackluster Rift Herald use, and they lost a tier 1 in the top side.
They lost a tier 1 tower in the top side. Now Whisper has to flash out as well. They lose the teleports onto
They're
Perun.
gonna commit to this. That's actually 2 teleports being expended here. Gonna try and take out the Sion. We'll use the Unstoppable Onslaught to get away, but they're onto the Corki here. Uses the the Fear Beyond Death, and will shut down the Corki. And
now they are going to turn onto the Drake. You know, I was going to say that for GG we're losing on all sides of the map, because of how they got the Herald crushed in the top lane. They were not able to push down in bot lane because Sion was there. But now they managed to find a juicy kill that translated into a Drake.
But they're looking for a team fight here. Ace in the Hole comes out, will not be blocked by the Urgot. He's just let his jungler go down. He's gonna peace out himself. He doesn't want to give over that shut down gold, but they looked for a pick themselves, and they just gave up a kill.
Yeah, face shaking that bush really is dangerous. When you take a look at the map, you can see that Royal Reapers have the advantage in the vision. You see so many red wards in the top side of the map. That's what we're talking about. We said that whoever has the vision control on the sides of where the team fight takes place will win the game. And when you have a Hecarim, when you have the Vladimir, and on the other side you have a long-range Caitlyn, the Corki that can hop into the fight with the Valkyrie, you can't really You can't really take a walk, a happy, nice walk in the side lanes anymore, because from what you know, there is like 2 people coming out of the bush to kill you, and the next thing you know is that Urgos.
You can't just be doing that. You can't wander into your own jungle all alone. You just be collapsed upon, and that's the first kill of the game for Omena on this Corki. He's gonna get a free blue buff here for his team. Gonna probably donate that over to the Nunu. Actually gonna pick it up for himself, refresh the one that he had. They're just gonna go straight onto the Baron. They know that Samus is alive, doesn't have the Ghost, but has the Smite, could go for the steal here. They think that they're on it. Will they go for the steal or go for the attempt?
Now with the support dead, they have total control, vision control over the surroundings of the Nashor. Blasco is available. Ultimate is there as well.
Yeah, he goes in, but a little too early there. Will he be stopped? No! That's going to be the Baron going over to the side of GG. The jungler will be going down. Goes Golden Absolute Zero comes out as well as Omena picks up his second kill of the game. Whisper will be going down as well for the triple kill for the Corki. Looking for to make it a quadra. It will be the quadra kill coming for Omena.
Very well done from Royal Reapers. They did as they should have. They set up the vision control, made a good catch with the Morgana binding. As I mentioned before, they do have the follow-up to translate a binding to a kill, especially with a 5-0 Caitlyn. So now they have everything. They have 2 Infernals, they have the Baron, they have Fed carries. They are in a pretty good spot to win the game right now.
Definitely are. The 2 Infernals are really going to help them out, even if they need that scaling, which at this point they don't necessarily need. They're 7,000 gold ahead at the 21-minute mark, and they don't even have a full item finished on their main carry, which is the Jinx. It has 2 pickaxes just for that little bit of extra damage, but that means you have to wait so long for it to get that Infinity Edge. You're still waiting for the Runan's Hurricane to come through on the Jinx as well. And 2 items now, 2.5 items on the main carry of Yoshi is cool on this Kate. It's looking pretty dire from the side of Glorious Gaming, and Royal Reapers are looking to reap those rewards.
Yeah, it's even a gold deficit in the top lane as well. Like, Vladimir is sitting on 7k gold, and Sion is actually on 7,400 gold.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is a feels bad situation, because you have... Oh, look, Jinx finally got her eye. So I'm going to take back what I was about to say. She now does have critical strikes, and good thing they got their Ocean Drakes, because because if you add the Ocean Drake to Royal Reaper's composition, the sieges are going to be unbearable.
Look, it just doesn't even matter that they have the Ocean Drake. They're just gonna siege in this bottom side, pick up a free inhib tower as well, obviously, but there's nothing that you can do from the side of Glorious Gaming to try and stem the bleeding at this point, or so it looks. They still have a tier 2 in the top side, but that's a silver lining to a cloud that's about to rain all over your day.
Yeah, that Baron buff hurts so much. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really see GG coming back from this game.
Yeah, I don't really see it either. There's still 7,000 gold between the 2 teams, but 7 towers to 1. You've only taken the 1 tower in the bottom side, haven't cracked open the mid lane yet, or the top lane. Ocean Drake is live, but they're just gonna 5-man push in the top side. Samus, you can take that Drake if you want to, but you're gonna sacrifice your base.
Yeah, why do you want an Ocean Drake when you can actually save your inhibitor? And
I don't know if they actually can save the inhib. Jinx was farming in the bottom side because she needs to get that Runan's Hurricane, but if it's anything like we saw in the bottom, they're not going to be able to stem the bleeding up here. They have to go for a desperation fight. And that's exactly what they do, go into with Disdain. Biggest snowball ever. Unstoppable Onslaught comes out as well, but Hecarim's on his own. He uses the Unstoppable Onslaught to try and get out. This Absolute Zero comes out as well, and they're just gonna stomp through the lineup of GG here as he just gets popped by his Nexus towers as Fear Beyond Death comes through just to take down 1 member from the side of RR, and it's just looking so dire. They're on the Nexus towers now. It's a 4 versus 1. Nothing that Lizard can really do, and all hope for Glorious Gaming is gone. They cannot continue undefeated, as Royal Reapers will be taking them to 4-1.
And now we have it's a 2-tie win for the first. It's a 2-tie for the first place in the regular season for now. Props to Royal Reapers. They really outdid themselves on that game. Like most of their plays were clean. They did not overextend anything. They always transformed their kills to objectives, which is really the defining factor of that game. Like, they make a catch. Okay, now it's the Drake. They make another catch. Okay, now it's the Vision. Another kill. Okay, so now they're gonna grab themselves the Baron. And then they just unfolded the game in a classic fashion. Now,
is there any misplay, or was it in the draft that Glorious Gaming went wrong with the Lulu and the Jinx into such an oppressive lane as the Caitlyn and Morgana? Because even if it wasn't 100% lost through the bottom lane, it kind of feels that way, because 0-3 and 0-3, there wasn't really a huge amount they could do. They were an item and a half down on the AD carries. There was 4,000 gold almost between the two of them. There's 3,500 gold in favor of Yoshi is cool, and Glorious Gaming were coming in as the hot favorites.
Yeah, I think that you are wondering where it went wrong for GG. Yeah. I'm gonna say it's overconfidence. They tried to test objectives that they had up, because it was first a 4v5, then they have that jungler. I don't even know why you're contesting a Drake if you don't have a smite. On the other side, they have 2. So they ended up losing so much more than they should have. 2 kills went to the Caitlyn. That's where things started to go bad for GG. So I'm going to say that they lost this game because of overconfidence. We have, if that brings them back on Earth, because they were thriving in the skies.
Yeah, they're just kind of up at a level above where everyone else was, thinking that they're almost invincible. But Royal Reapers have taken down our would-be kings and brought them to their level, so they're both 4-1 at this point. They can still both tie for first. It is, I think, a 4-way tie actually at this point off of yesterday, for different teams being at 4-1 in the standings. I'm not quite sure off of my memory, but I think it's 4-way tie at this point at 4-1. But both these teams still have one more game left to play today, so they can both go 5-1, or they can both go 4-2, depending on if they win or lose. But they're kind of the favorites to win later on, because Royal Reapers is against Prototype. They're kind of the favorites into that. And with Glorious Gaming being against ELG, Glorious Gaming previously having been undefeated, they're kind of the ones that we're expecting to win. Now, I want to ask you, who will you nominate as your MVP candidate?
I'm hesitating, actually. Between both bot laners, I think Yoshi deserves it a bit more, because we haven't seen that much clutch bindings from Morgana. And Yoshi is cool. You have to praise that 5-0-4 KDA in a 14 kills game. So I'm gonna go for Yoshi.
Okay, I can get on board with that. I think that Clean by Cody did hit a few nice bindings, but to give it to someone, I think it kind of has to be Yoshi is cool, from the amount of how far up Yoshi is cool played most of the game, wasn't punished, the positioning was good, and as an AD carry main myself, I just like to give props to someone when they do well, especially positioning, which can be very annoying depending on vision and, all that good stuff. All the boring stuff that some analysts really enjoy, that I actually enjoy as well, but some of you listeners or viewers, depending on what you're doing at home, probably don't really care about that too much. So we will be taking a short break before we go on to the next game. That will be it from Luca, Sherlock Devari, unfortunately. I will have CJ with me for the next game, though, and I will remain here as your caster. So we'll be back in just a few short minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Bye bye.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second game of the night for Square One. I am, of course, Dara Dark Soul Mecco, and joining me this time is CJ, one of our admins, one of our resident casters, and on the blue side, we have Lao Gan Ma. In the top lane, we have Sojin in the jungle, it's Morco Vel. In the mid lane, don't get his name wrong, we're going to call him John 2. Mechanics as the AD carry, and Artemis as the support. And on the red side, we have Free Krugs. In the top lane is Soap. In the jungle, it is Toby. In the mid lane, Slednex. In the AD carry position, it is Pongra. And your support, bruh, you guessed it right. It is the support.
I mean, as unfortunate as it might be that I am now casting with you, Dark Soul, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for these two teams. Both of these guys have really exciting playstyles. We've got some interesting subs, some good team news / drama, depending on how you want to look at it. And yeah, I think it's going to be a nice matchup for us today.
I don't know if that's a slight burn or not. You're just like, it's a bit unfortunate. I'm stuck here with you. I don't have Viper. I'm lost. I'm alone. I'm lonely. I'm stuck with this Irish guy. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I'm excited for these two teams as well. They're coming in. Lao Gan Ma, they won their game earlier today, so they're 4-1. And now Free Krugs, they want to take them down. They want to even up the score a little bit because they lost their game earlier today, so they're sitting at 3-2.
Yeah, let's talk about Lao Gan Ma for a bit, because these guys have the most interesting roster changes today. Pretty high-profile ones as well. Artemis, very outspoken ADC of their team usually. He is now swapped to the support role, with Mechanics coming into ADC, as you said. So Mechanics is a master player. He is definitely a very scary one to watch. He's definitely very confident about his own performance, and he's looking to make a statement today. Artemis was struggling at times in that ADC role, even in the wins they had. So I guess LGM, they're looking to shake things up, patch up the holes in their roster, and we'll have to see how well that works out for them today. They also have Morcavel subbing in on that jungle. So the roster is definitely a lot changed. We'll have to see if they can keep up that level that they have been showing us so far. And in that game against OG, definitely looks like they've been able to do that. I don't think anyone was particularly surprised they took that one, but notable as they did take it with a Vayne top, so maybe flexing on them a little bit to send a message of, don't underestimate us just because we had one setback.
Exactly, and with the changes to Vayne, the buff to her final hour, and the changes to the crit items as well, it's not a wonder that Vayne top lane has kind of seen a little bit of a resurgence. But if you look at the OP.GG for Artemis, a little bit of a support main in there, so not really surprised to see them take that role back and, go back into the support position and put someone that has a little more knowledge, maybe a little more prowess in the AD carry position, actually in that position.
Yeah, so I definitely have a lot of faith in this roster. I think the one thing that, if we looked over to Free Krugs, they might be able to, if they're going to try and exploit anything, it might be this sub-jungle who perhaps isn't quite as synergized with the team. If you look at their match history as well, it's not quite as consistent. However, Morcavel is a grandmaster player. He is the tippity top of the mountain right now. So even if he's maybe not quite as used to playing in the team in this environment in the live games, I imagine he's going to be a massive threat coming into this game, and a pretty volatile one. This could go anywhere. So I'm excited to see what he pulls out. Okay, so if we actually go over to Free Krugs here, coming in today, they do have 3 wins, as you said. They've got 2 losses, but they have 3 wins. However, those 3 wins are against 3 of the 4 lowest ranked teams in both the power rankings that we put out and the current standings. So potentially we haven't seen as much out of them as we have as some of the other mid-tiers who have maybe taken slightly stronger wins. But if we look at those games that they took over a Mega Team, Prototype, and Unknown Enemy, they were absolutely dominant. Minimum gold leads of 11k all the way up to 19k against a Mega Team, with 33 kills to a Mega Team's 3. It was an absolute smash. So these guys, if they have an advantage, if they know they're confident that they can roll over you, they will absolutely not hesitate to do it. So I'm looking forward to see if they can actually take it to this stronger team and prove they have the metal to take it over them. Because if they get an advantage, as I say, they will take it all the way to the finish. They are not scared to take those fights and to try and assert their dominance.
And we will be getting into Champion Select very soon, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to have a look at the icons for the side of Free Krugs, it's actually only their AD carry that doesn't have Krugs as their icon. So a little bit of lacking a bit of synergy there, a little bit of a yikes, one could say. Oh, he changed it back.
Oh,
Changed it
he
back.
heard
It's
it.
all
He
good.
heard.
He heard it.
Actually, Morcavel had the same free Krugs icon, so I don't know, a little double agent in there. Brother Morcavel,
A little bit of a
possibly
spy.
coming out. Yeah. That Grandmaster player threw them in. He knew they would get baited in. He's a Grandmaster player. We got to have him on our team, but all along he was a free Krug.
Well, we are into Champion Select for the last game of the night that's going to be streamed, and we're just waiting for the first ban to come through. It will be the Thresh. Target towards your support, Bra. He is known for that pick.
Yeah, and I think another ban I would not be surprised to see coming out from LGM would be the Lucian to really take away that strong bot lane duo. Pongra has been focusing on the Lucian very heavily in his games in SQ1 so far, and it is definitely a very strong pick still. Even with the new item changes, he still has a solid place in that meta. He's not quite as prevalent as he was before, but Pongra is definitely proficient, and it's a champion that they can use to really win the lane and play into that snowbally aggressive style that they have. The first ban from Free Krugs will turn out to be that Vladimir against Sojin. This is another not a large surprise here. Sojin's Vladimir is feared nationwide, and I'm not surprised they took that one away.
Yeah, just waiting to see if any unusual picks would come through. That will be the Lucian taken away, like you said. Take that away from Pongra. Plays really well early into these crit 80 carries, especially after the change to the crit carries. We're expecting more of them to be coming out. We've seen a resurgence in Tristana, in Caitlyn coming on the board, even a Jinx. We saw that being played in pro play on patch 9.2 from Fnatic. Didn't do too well, but they should probably wait for 9.3 before they crack any of those picks out. Want to see him on his Tristana. But looking at this, we will see a Lissandra being taken away from John 2 in the middle lane.
Yeah, Lissandra, say it every week. It's pretty much, I am not surprised to still see it in the 100% pick ban ratio. I understand there will be some changes coming in fairly soon for this champion, but for now it's too solid of a pick to pass away. I think that's something we might see as well banning out from LGM is the Scion. Soap has been favoring the Scion a lot in their games, and the Urgot is a particularly strong pick right now, since the Akali and the Aurelia were both nerfed away, leaving him as the only kind of dominant lane destroyer in that top lane. And Scion is one of the few champions that has an actual potential to take that fight back to him and not lose it so hard due to the buffs that he has on his, I believe it's his Q damage and his general wave clear. He can really stand up to that Scion in the lane, and they are actually going to take away that Urgot, so they're not even going to give Sojin the chance as we go into first picks here.
So just waiting, even almost insta-locked the Karthus. Assuming that's going towards Morcavel, it can go for mechanics, it can go to John 2 in the middle lane, Morcavel in the jungle, Sojin in the top. A huge flex pick for that Karthus, but we've seen it before, where the Karthus gets locked in, and he just waits until level 11, he's just farming up his jungle, keeps using that Requiem to get the stacks of his Dark Harvest, and he just tears through the enemy lane.
Yeah, Morcavel did play that Karthus in the first game today. Went 13, 2, and 7 on it. 17k gold acquired. He was an absolute beast on this champion. It definitely puts a timer on the game. So kind of it gets to that point, as you say, where he's just gonna win. He's just gonna press R, and you're gonna die. So we'll have to see if Free Krugs can get some advantage and keep him down, maybe get a win out before that timer runs out. And they have gone for that Scion. They've gone for Soap's tried and true. I do like that pick from him. It doesn't have a whole lot of bad matchups right now, especially since they took away the Vlad from Sojin, and they are going to match that up with a J4 for Toby in the jungle.
Yeah, want to go for a little bit of more early aggression, or potentially early aggression. Once you get the level 2, you have the flag and drag, you have the shield from level 3, and you want to take it to the Karthus early if he's in that jungle pick, because you can't let him start to get this snowball or start to get this easy early game. You don't want to let him be feeling comfortable at all. You want to try and keep him behind, because as we said earlier on, I think you said he went 13 and 2. That is a yikes sort of game coming out from Karthus. You do not want that. But we see the Cassiopeia locked in for John 2 in the middle lane, and the Kai'Sa playing a little bit more towards that late game.
Yeah, that is, if you look at the late game damage coming out of LGM, it is absolutely obscene right here, with the Kai'Sa, Cassiopeia, and Karthus all scaling into infinity into that late game. The Kai'Sa on mechanics, if he lives up to his name, I imagine we'll see some flashy plays. Got a lot of options with that champion. And then Cassiopeia with the Lissandra gone. It's just a very strong champion to have in here. Slednex is going to match against it with the Ahri. But I'm not entirely sure how much he's going to be able to do, given the zoning power of that Miasma. He's going to have to try and get inside it with that surprise ultimate if they're going to maybe use Jarvan as well to gank. Cassiopeia does have Cleanse hovered over right now for Jontu. It's probably a good idea, but he has to be very careful. He's got to have very good vision, because the combination of Ahri and Jarvan can really punish that champion in the lane before he gets her ultimate, before he gets enough ranks in the miasma.
Well, they will be taking away the Sivir, trying to pinch this 80 carry champion pool, take away these late game scaling carries. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Tristana or something like that being taken away as well, because these are these carries that can match the hyper carry potential of a Kai'Sa, and also with the spell shield can block the Karthus ultimate. So good to have that off the table. Just have to wait and see what the response will be coming out from the Krugs. It will be the Braum.
Yeah, they're actually taking away 2 supports there with the Morgana and the Braum. They haven't picked one for themselves either, so your support Bra, I guess, confident in that he will have an answer for whatever Artemis pulls out. Maybe maybe not overestimating Artemis in that bot lane just because he's not played the support role in this league so far, though as you said, he is no stranger to that role. So I also do like them taking away these late game AD carries. It's going to be Draven taken away, so if a champion was going to play quite similarly to Lucian, it probably would be the Draven in the way that he wants to win the lane and just wants to step up and dare you to fight him. So Pongra is going to be forced onto, I would guess, probably something like a Caitlyn. And the Tristana, as you said, can go surprisingly aggressive. The Ezreal has not been picked yet, but I don't think it really fits into Pongra's style as a player. It was hovered by Morkavel there, but he's did end up going for that Kai'Sa. And they are going to lock in the Galio on the side of Free Krugs. So this could be a support Galio, actually. Given how pinched the support pool has been, would not be surprised to see that. I think that the tool set, the kit that Galio brings to the table does align quite well with the support, and his lane damage is surprisingly good right now. Very nice bases, so I think that if they're going for an aggressive lane, that is not a bad pickup at all. Looks like this might be matched by the Janna for the side of LGM if they lock that one in, so that is going to be very much a get out of my face. I don't want to see hide nor hair of you at all. I do not care about you. I just want to farm myself up and just walk into this late game with my triple threat.
Yeah, basically just max your shield and just make sure that Mechanics can just waltz his way into the late game and be like, what's up, Krugs? I'm just going to take you for free. Just playing up to the free Krugs sort of name. But Galio, if you bring that in with the Jarvan, good layering of the ultimates there, and if it is support, Galio, nice amount of roaming potential. So might see the Ezreal still, they have the counter pick availability, and it would give a little bit of an easier lane for the Ezreal to allow for the roam from your support Brown, the Galio, but they're hovering the MF.
That would be a surprising one, certainly. Not the most common pick, especially I'm not really sure how MF fits into the current ADC meta. Crit does technically scale with her ultimate, and they are going to switch over to that Jhin. He is a
little bit better.
He definitely benefits a lot more obviously from the revamping of the crit items, though he does still have lethality as an option. But I think crit, especially the fact that Essence Reaver has gone back to its original form, where it gives mana back and then also gives crit on it, it makes both IE giving that crit damage on his guaranteed 4-shot, plus Essence Reaver, they're both viable starts depending on how you're feeling and how the lane is going. Makes your 3-item spike incredibly potent on this champion. Plus, it gives them a little bit more CC. They have so much crowd control on the side of Free Krugs. If they catch you out, you are just, bam, dead. Even if the Janna is there, I would not be surprised if you still went down, because the side of LGM, when it comes to defensive options in terms of hard CC, they've got they've got Janna ult, and they've got Cassiopeia ult, and that's about it. In terms
I think you've exhausted it.
Yeah, the Aurelia stun is really not a hugely consistent one to rely on, especially as she wants to usually be using it to give herself resets, not to be peeling off the AD carry. And then the tornado from Janna is obviously not hugely effective if you don't get time to charge it that long. So yeah, I think that this is definitely a pick comp that we have from Free Krugs, and the potential to pick off the immobile carries of Karthus and Cassiopeia is very high for them. Kai'Sa does have that ult to keep herself alive a little bit, but I think Artemis is going to have his work cut out from this game, keeping his team alive, especially as Sojin has picked himself the Aurelia into the Sion matchup, the nerfed Aurelia. He doesn't have to go against an Urgot, which is nice. We know that Sojin is a very aggressive lane-dominant player, so if he does get rolling, this could be very scary for the side of Free Krugs. But I think there potentially could have been better choices. He was hovering over that Swain before, and I think that actually would have been a better choice going into this matchup. Maybe they just wanted to avoid being too AP heavy, especially as Kai'Sa does even tend to move into that mixed damage still. So it's an interesting choice. It's a bit of a strange team comp coming out from LGM. You're not quite sure what their theme is here. It kind of seems like every character, they just wanted to play either something that they wanted to play or something they thought was strong right now, and maybe they're just confident in their ability to roll over free Krugs using their their master players. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it does kind of seem a little bit solo queue-esque. The Aurelia, as you said, has been nerfed, so it'll be interesting to check in on that matchup as it progresses. But what are the win conditions for these two teams? As you said, a little bit more pick-oriented on the side of free Krugs, but they have a little bit more potential for the team fighting. They have the Jarvan for engage, Sion for engage, Galio for engage, and then they can have the Ahri and the Jhin just doing their work in the back line. But with the side of Lao Gan Ma, it's a little bit more solo queue, a little bit more pick, a little bit more kind of throw everything at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah, and I think that once we hit about 35 minutes, free Krugs are going to be in a heck of a lot of trouble because the damage that their team has, it's not great. Jarvan has a very respectable early game damage. He can fight a lot of people very well. Like you said, he's got the flag and drag, consistent ganks, but once he hits that kind of 5-6 item, his damage is really not that viable anymore, and he's going to end up more as an engage tool and a bit of a damage soaker unless he actually goes full damage, Duskblade, Ravenous Hydra level memes, which he might do. Who knows? But who knows how excited he's feeling today. The amount of tankiness on the side of LGM is not that high, so if he goes full damage, he might actually be able to pop more people than they might expect. But then behind that, they have the Jhin, who is not as much of a consistent damage person, especially when you've got to watch out for the Aurelia who's coming up in your face. Cassiopeia's got the miasma to catch you out. Karthus Wall as well outranges the Jin's auto attacks, so he's got to be very careful if he's going for auto attacks. He's pretty much only going to be hitting the Aurelia realistically, because she's going to be the only one coming in at him. Everyone else is going to be spacing him out. So he's going to have to be getting a lot of value off his CC, off his ultimate and his W, I think, to be worthwhile in these fights, which means that the amount of damage left is just a Sion, which doesn't really count. The J4 we've been through. Ahri, potentially, that's really, you can blow up one person, sure, but after that, you're pretty much done. And then the Galio, who, he's support. As exciting as the Galio support can be, he's probably not going to be carrying the damage in those late game fights. So I think when it comes to late game, LGM at some point they're just going to win. We knew that the game was going to be on a timer already because this Dark Harvest Karthus is here, but I think every lane in a way is now just putting the pressure on free Krugs to win before 35 minutes, and we'll have to see if they crack under that pressure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Toby can actually carry his team through this early game, because as you said, that Jhin, and he's such a low mobility carry in the Jhin that they're just going to be able to almost land anything that they want. The Karthus is a huge amount of damage. You can just land the miasma, land the petrifying gaze from the Cassiopeia as well. There's just so much variety of CC that comes out from the side of Lao Gan Ma that will allow for them to do almost anything that they want from that 25-30 minute mark.
Yeah, and we see Jarvan has gone for the Electrocute, looking at Keystones as well, so that is definitely going a bit more towards that damage. We'll have to see if he follows that through into his build. And actually, I have to thank, Rito for this one, because now I can click on the portraits and check people's mastery scores and things, which gives me more material to talk about while I'm waiting for spectator delay, so that's nice. If we look at the masteries coming out here, Slednex and Pongra very comfortable in these champions. I have to qualify this on this account. They're very comfortable in these champions. Mechanics has a huge amount of points on that Kai'Sa, so he is very comfortable in this one. Artemis on this Janna, only 4,000 points, maybe a little bit fresh to it. I hope we don't see some XD Janna ults that maybe kill his own team members, but I mean, we'll have to see how that plays out as we get onto the Rift now.
Yep, they're just assuming the lines of scrimmage here, pretty normal with the Kai'Sa towards that tri-brush there, and they just don't want to give too much information or any information really over to the enemy team at this point. So J4 is up towards the back of that red buff as well.
Yeah, very standard vision lines. Neither team has a particularly dominant level 1 particularly, although the side of free Krugs does in general have a better CC combo. At level 1, it's really not that exciting. Galio relies on that 2-hit combo with the E into the W or vice versa. And Ahri starting Charm means that she's not going to be able to get that lane push, which Ahri as a champion really wants to do. Before 6, you really just want to shove that wave in. Don't really talk to your enemy mid laner that much. Get that level 6, and then you can force the advantage. So I'm not surprised that see these guys taking a nice chilled out level 1, gonna get some vision down for LGM, whereas Free Krugs decides not to bother with that. They don't need any of that nonsense. They're just gonna go to lanes as normal here.
And John 2 on this Cassiopeia did decide to take that cleanse, so a bit of respect for Slednex in this middle lane, making sure that he won't be charmed up by this Ahri, or if he does, he can just get out of it quick and easy. And we'll have to wait for that level 6 mark and see how Slednex can play with his ultimate around the Miasma because of that grounding.
Yeah, I think level 2 in bot lane particularly could be very explosive when they have the Galio into Jhin chain CC. We could see some flashes burst if they choose to exert that pressure. And the Kai'Sa Janna definitely not nearly as powerful at that stage in the game. And then as we come to mid lane, I think is just going to be mostly pushing. And actually, there's going to be a flash away.
Almost first blood. He popped his pot just on time. And I was thinking that nothing was going to happen, so I wasn't interrupting. And then he's just like, I'm just going to flash at the last possible moment.
Yeah, that is a very dominant start for Sojin there. Hits the level 2 and the one exerting that pressure. Probably lands that stun. He's now 11 CS up to 2 already. Burns that teleport incredibly early. He's going to be very happy about this one.
Oh, definitely will. And he went back to the lane even earlier than one would normally do so, just so that he wouldn't miss out on too much of the CS. But he's trying his best to CS underneath this tower, and now he's picked up 5 CS to 13. He's lost a wave.
See, Support Bright is going for this one. He's actually getting very low here, though. His trade not going in his favor. He tried to get that E, but didn't have the taunt ready since he started the Q. For poke damage, he didn't have that combo, and Mechanics punishes him, getting that stack passive almost done from the Kai'Sa. So we've got to be wary on this. They do have Mechanics reasonably low, and they've got that 4th shot. Jarvan hanging around on the bot side. We'll have to see who goes. Here comes Karthus, though.
Karthus is in the middle lane, uses the skills, trying to get the damage down. Charm will land, doesn't have a lot of mana here, might be able to get something back. Toby comes in, flashes with the Flag Drag, so he'll miss the drag. Morkavel in a little bit of trouble, uses the E. He will be going down here, flashes, and will be going down to first blood for Toby.
Can someone say Grandmaster, by the way? That's a first blood given up by Morkavel. Takes that fight. They does get a nice flank on the Ahri, gets around behind her, but doesn't do really any damage. Ahri sidestepping a lot of those Qs. Gets Jontu very low, but even then, the J4 coming in, missing that flag and drag flash, still just zones him against the wall, and they can just bop him down, because the Jarvan early damage is so much more effective at this stage of the game. And that's going to be a very nice start for this jungler.
It seems like he felt that he had more damage, and we'll talk about that in a second as the taunt will land onto the Janna. Uses the heal, might be able to trade one back. Will be a flash away from Support Bra. He is ignited, but he won't be going down. So that's another nice kill in favor of the Krugs.
That's exactly what I was talking about there, getting that solid CC combo. Support Bra coming in with not that much health, but does know he can take this fight. Walks away on a sliver, and now Morkavel is wondering to see if Pongra's going to get too big for his boots here, but he is not pushing through particularly hard. It looks like he's going to just chill out, get that cannon minion, see if he steps too far. Maybe this gank will go slightly better for Morkavel than the last one, as we see Sojin still getting aggressive onto Soap. He's managed to stabilize a little bit. He hasn't really lost. Oh, here comes.
Oh, Wall of Pain comes down. He doesn't have a lot of mana. Will flash away, trying to get away from the skills. Flash in by Mechanics as well. One more hit will do it. Morkavel will pick up the stack and the kill.
That is a couple of Dark Harvest stacks already for Morkavel. He does wait that one out very well. I'm glad that one worked out for him, because the longer he was waiting there, he could set himself further behind this Jarvan. It does work out, though. Pongra gets a bit too excited. He knows he has the advantage in the 1v1 against this Kai'Sa. Doesn't consider the Karthus waiting there. Does give it away. So Karthus gets a nice bit of gold, accelerating towards his first items. As Slednex is still exerting a lot of pressure in the mid lane. Jontu doesn't want to give it up to him for free, but he's definitely not at the position where he can win these trades yet. He really just needs to keep this farm lead, though. He's extended already almost a 10 CS difference in this mid lane, having not given up that kill earlier to mid lane. We'll have to see if he can get more value out of this one. Just needs to wait until he gets a little bit more support, a little bit more items before he can start trading with this Ahri efficiently.
And he knows that Slednex doesn't have the amount of damage necessary to have kill pressure in this mid lane just yet. And speaking of that, uses the ult, goes through, Wall of Pain comes through as well. And that's John 2 going down to Slednex in the solo kill. Nothing Morkavel could really do except push out this wave.
Was absolutely cleanly done there. Hits that level 6, instantly goes in, doesn't even need the ignite. He only had the Dark Seal and a Doran's Ring, and probably a ticking Corrupting Potion there. Already had him poked down, gets that kill, lands every skill shot. The cleanse burn from Jontu. Doesn't use the flash though. I guess maybe saving it, didn't think he'd get away at the end, or maybe greeting, think he wouldn't need it. But as you say, Morkavel just standing by the side and watching, this Karthus doesn't really have that much to offer at this point. And a lot of these ganks, that's 1 for 3, I guess, in successful ganks for Morkavel. I don't think I've ever seen a Karthus gank this many times in the first 6 minutes of a game. This guy is going aggro.
You never see a Karthus just like, alright, just chill in the lanes, I'm just gonna farm up, I'm just gonna be in my jungle, wait till level 11, then I might just show my face. I'll just wreck room every now and then, maybe. That will be an Feral Drake, the first Drake of the game, picked up by the free Krugs, and that's gonna help them start to snowball or start to scale a little bit better towards that late game. But we already said there's going to be a timer on this game because of that Karthus pick, because of the Kai'Sa pick as well. So we're waiting for that 35 minute mark.
It's important to note that Morkavel, despite ganking 3 times in 6 minutes, already has a significant CS lead over the Jarvan as well, who is, apart from that mid lane countering, we haven't really seen him do that much, apart from coming to that dragon very recently, and Morkavel is now invading his jungle. He is just very confident right now, coming for ganks, he's going for counter jungling, he's still got a CS lead, so I guess that is maybe the Grandmaster coming out that we are seeing, the efficient level of play that you kind of really need to achieve to get to that exact highest rank in the game.
And with the lackluster, one could say, sort of ganks coming out from Morkavel so far, you said 1 in 3 that actually succeeded. He needs to get this efficient jungle pathing down. He needs to invade and take Toby's jungle farm. He needs to take these advantages because of the advantages that he lost by taking these ganks.
Yeah, and I mean, he is counter jungling, which is a little bit unorthodox, but he's doing it on the right side of the map at least. He's doing it with Sojin, who is perma-pushing Soap into his tower, and Sojin, I will have no doubt, will be very happy to rotate and offer that Aurelia damage. He's got the ultimate ready into that Karthus if someone tries to challenge him in that top side of the jungle. So Karthus hasn't even been challenged at this point, but I think it is the right call, and they would be able to do a surprising amount of damage in a 2v2, possibly a 3v3. John2 chooses to come as well. So we now have Toby rotating down to the bottom side, maybe looking to get off a gank of his own, but he is going to sit on a ward there.
Definitely is, and they're pinging that he is there, and they're just waiting out of sight here. Actually, your Superpra, I think, will be spotted out on a ward in that first brush closest to the blue tower. So he's actually still looking for to engage here. Karthus is towards that bot side as well. Petrifying Gaze goes down in the middle lane. Gonna try and find the damage here. Charm will land. That's gonna be another solo kill in favor of Slednex in the middle lane. And nothing really happened in the bottom side, even though he still spent so much time down there.
Very patiently played by Slednex there. He goes in with the ultimate charge to clear out the last of those minions, then it's just a giant wave in his favor. Cassiopeia throws the ultimate out, Slednex just takes it on the chin, doesn't even care, has a blue buff ready, and then just goes right into point blank melee range to secure that charm, and once again the flash by Cassiopeia is not used. Maybe the Cassiopeia, once she hits that ult, can move over to that left side and then flash over the wall to try and at least force Slednex to burn summoners of his own if he wants to finish it off. But ends up just going down. She tries to walk away, tries to get that ultimate, but cannot escape the Ahri. Now Slednex has taken a commanding lead, already built up a bounty for himself, the first 450 bounty of this game.
And Morkavel is just sitting in the lane trying to get the CS wave under control. He took a charm to the face, Orbit Deception, he's almost dead.
Yeah.
One more auto attack or maybe one more Q, and Slednex would have picked up another kill for himself in that middle lane. And we have to wait and see what Morkavel can really do to try and help snowball this game. As Justice Punch will connect, force the flash out of your support brow, comes the Deadly Flourish, will not connect onto anyone, but support brow playing a little fast and loose perhaps in this bottom side, still waiting for the side of Lao Gan Ma to start to really do something. They're down by only 100 gold in this game, even though they've 4 kills to 1. No towers taken just yet, and they have the Feral Drake, but it still feels like it's much more in favor of free Krugs.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, your support bro losing that flash, as it's such an important tool to get the surprise taunts off for this Galio. We do see Morkavel walk up to maybe sit for a lane gank in this top lane. He's not hugely healthy, but the wave being pushed in Sojin's favor does mean that he's going to get there without being seen. Might choose to go back, but we haven't seen a Requiem yet, importantly. I'm waiting to see that Requiem to see how much value Morkavel can get off this, because that is going to show us how much impact he can have, is when we start seeing the damage coming in from this Requiem. It's not going to be too bad at this point, but if he can get good value out of that and get more kills, more assists, stack up that gold, accelerate into those power spikes, we're going to see the impact that this champion can truly have on the game.
We definitely will, and we're just waiting with bated breath for just when he's actually going to start to do that. And he's actually spending so much time in this top side in that brush. He was kind of like, will I leave one time? Puts down the Wall of Pain, flash away from Soap, and That's all they get, but they do get the summoners, so that spells a repeat gank.
Surprised by how long Morcavel let Soap walk out, and then he kind of almost walked part of the way back to his tower before Morcavel cancelled the recall and went back in. Maybe asleep at the wheel a little bit there, checking his shot perhaps. But he does get the flash out of Soap, has to be said. So it does give Soja more freedom, and Slednex going in again.
Yep, misses the charm, Petrifying Gaze comes down, trying to find the damage, throws out the miasma for the grounding, but that's a flash forward, will flash away himself, uses the cleanse, gets rid of the ignite. Crucially, he will get out clean, but he is behind by more than 2 waves and 2 kills. You're not having a fun time if you're John 2.
Yeah, that's both the summoners. He does finally use that flash to effect, forces Slednex to use both his summoners, dodges the charm importantly as well. Slednex went in and opened with the charm this time, as opposed to saving it to a later moment, which served him very well the first time. Didn't land that charm, means you can't really secure that kill, you don't get the extra damage. So now we're going to another fight here.
Cataclysm comes through, charm will be flashed away from. Uses the ultimate from your support, bro. They don't get anything for what they've invested. They did pick up that Cloud Drake.
That's a lot of ultimates invested for nothing at all on Morcavel. He uses his flash, sure, but Karthus isn't that sad about that one. He's kind of just planning to die in team fights anyway. They use the Cataclysm, the Jhin ult, and the Galio ult. The Galio ult at this point in the game is something like a 210-second cooldown, or maybe a 200-second one. Like, that has gone for a long time now with no value gain. That's very unfortunate for Free Krugs if they're trying to snowball this lead further into the game. They do have 2 dragons, it has to be said. They've got that speed and damage, both things that you want to be snowballing in this game, but man, they need to be able to shut down Morcavel more, because he's still got this farm lead, and we are going to go into a pause here with the Amateur League Classic. So we'll have a little bit more more time to talk about that one. So Pongra, he's hit this IE importantly, and Kai'Sa's still waiting. So this is a very nice early spike for the Jhin, giving that extra 250% crit damage, guaranteed on that 4th shot every time. So he knows that he can, if he spaces it out, he kind of use those 3 shots on the minions, and then you can stack up an empowered grenade and combine that with a 4th shot to do a massive chunk of damage, especially on someone like the Janna, who will be stepping forward potentially to try and trade using her Q. So I have to see if they can use that one. Support Bra's flash and ult not up as we say, but he does have that Justice Punch to get in range if possible. I think we could see some more kills coming around this bot lane if they use that advantage well. And then if we go to the jungle, we've seen Jarvan do a little bit more. He tried to get that gank off on Morcavel. He went for that, got that dragon secured as well, to be fair. He has got better objective calls at this point, but he's... I want to see more from him. I want to see more ganks. I want to see more assists, potentially on this mid lane gank, as we know that Slednex is perfectly willing to just go in every time. Both summoners are down on this Cassio. She's basically free money at this point, and the mid lane tower only has 2 plates left. So you want to secure that gold, potentially if you can get on it quickly, or if not, just get that first tower and let Ahri roam into that top and bottom lane to really push the advantage she has right now.
Yeah, that is exactly what you want to do. You want to have this Ahri roaming, but you need to push in this lane. You need to maybe get that tower. As you said, we want to see Toby go for these ganks. He's being out-pressured by Morcavel. Even though these ganks have been pretty hit and miss from him, he's ahead by more than 25 CS now. He's up by a level. He's out-pressuring, out-ganking, out-farming him. What's Toby doing wrong?
Well, it seems like he was mainly just going for a little bit more of a passive style, or maybe more of a standard style. He's kind of going, okay, I'm going to go to my camps, I'm going to do my jungle path, I'm going to go to a route, I'm going to go to a lane, sorry, and then maybe this one's not worked out, I don't have it, I'm going to go back to farming. Whereas Morcavel seems he's not really kind of going from one stage to the next. Everything he's doing, when he's going from one lane to another, he's picking up CS on the way. When he's picking up these ganks, he's usually showing up when the laner either isn't there or they're backing or whatever, so he's picking up all the extra farm in the lanes. We saw him grabbing that in the mid lane as well, and a little bit in the bot lane when he got the kill onto Pongra. So he's counter jungling, he's absorbing farms in the lanes that he's visiting, so he's pressuring them. He's not getting the kills secured, unfortunately. I shudder to think what the game would look like if he was 4-1 right now. That would be pretty much BG no re in my eyes at that stage. But so the ganks have been avoided, but I think every time he's doing something, he's picking up CS while he's doing it. He's not just kind of going, I'm going to walk to this lane now, so I'm going to walk from wherever I was to this lane. He's kind of going, okay, I'm going to go to this lane, so I'm going to path all the way through these 5 camps, including 2 on the other side of the map, and I'm going to round my way over there. And then, you know, admittedly not get anything done, but he did pick up 5 camps of CS. So he got something done, you know? Nothing he's doing is wasted at all. It's just that maybe there could be more value out of it.
Well, so far, we're seeing vision pressure or vision control heavily in favor of the free Krugs as well. So even though he's getting these ganks, he's getting more pressure than Toby. There's still more vision control around these neutral objectives, around these Drakes. This is why they have their Infernal Drake, they have the Cloud Drake in their pocket, because they have 3 control wards. If you look at the minimap there, they have 3 control wards around the Drake pit. They have 3 ordinary... they have 3 ordinary wards. Sorry, I was just listening to our producer there. They have 3 ordinary wards around that bottom side as well, so... Vision heavily in favor of the free Krugs, and just to update you guys at home, is a little bit of a lag issue with mechanics, so we're going to get back in as soon as we can. It's just the ADD carry is lagging a little bit.
Yeah, the ward placement really reflects the focus on this game, whereas Morkavel, he's really focusing on getting himself rolling and getting his lanes rolling with farm and kills. Toby has been using his time more towards the neutral objectives, as we can see by the focus there. It has paid off, they have gotten these extra dragon bonuses, and that's the kind of thing that can keep them relevant longer into this game. If the game wasn't paused, I could go and check what the next dragon is. However, I will assume that it's helpful. And having the, like I say, the speed and the Infernal really play into the style that free Krugs like to use, which is aggressive, we're going to roll over you kind of style. And like I say, if they can get this mid lane tower down, I want to see them grouping up more and exerting this pressure as quickly as possible. I don't want to see them, you know, lane swapping and chilling out as much. I want to see them grouping up with at least 2 or 3 members, going into a lane and just smashing them out of it, getting that tower quickly, and converting all of these things into objectives to try and keep LGM down. Because right now, Karthus has been pretty much free to roam over the map as much as he wants. Whoever wins that 1v1, I'm not quite sure at this point. If the J4 and the Karthus were to meet in jungle, it might be that Morkavel is predicting very well where Toby is, based on how the lanes are working and his knowledge that he can get through vision. So he's purposely putting himself on the other side of the map so he knows he can take that camp for free. Or he might just have gotten a little lucky. It might be a little bit of both, that he hasn't run into this Jarvan. I'm surprised it's not happened yet. We'll have to see if that does, because he is still very squishy, and the Electrocute from Jarvan coming out, he's got that warrior completed, I believe. So I'm pretty sure he could kill Morkavel. If he finds him in the wrong place, if he catches him in the wrong neighborhood, he could actually wipe him out. And then once the Karthus is dead, you have so much more pressure in a team fight, because you don't have to worry about that Requiem on the back end. You can just jump in and just blow someone out, and you can take a tower dive, a riskier move maybe, as long as you have time to get back to base and heal up before Karthus is, you know, coming back on the scene.
Nothing worse than you being low health, you forgetting to back, and you're just like, wait, Requiem's a thing. I'm sitting here in lane, backing you with about 2 seconds left, in comes the Requiem, and you just die, and you're like...
He agreed for that 1 extra cannon minion, and then you lose a whole kill for it. Karthus says, thank you very much, I'll take that 300 gold. Buys himself a Ludens, and then it's like, whoops, what a mistake. Looks like we might be able to get back into this one. Looks like Mechanics has been able to plug his toaster back in, and now we should be ready to get back onto the Rift here. We will see.
Yep, and it seems to be a Cinder Hulk that's been completed by Toby instead of a Warrior, so going a little bit for that more tanky build rather than going for the little bit more, I want to just help snowball the lead and try and end this game. I just want to kind of help support my team a bit.
That is a little worrying for me. Like I said, I think he's going to start falling off if they can't finish the game early. So I would have liked to see the Warrior to exert some advantage, though we will see if he chooses to go full tank, where he might actually be able to weather the Karthus Cassiopeia storm, especially given the Cassiopeia is in such a weak point right now. Though not having his red buff's not going to help, as Morkavel just brazenly walks right in, takes it away, and actually goes this way, so they are going to meet in this jungle finally.
Yeah, and see if Toby can do anything having met him. While Pain goes down, he will be slowed down, so he's just gonna pop the blast plant, get away. Flag and drag will be used, but will not meet him at all. Actually uses his ult to get through, and Shutdown Gold will be coming through onto Slet next, now 3-0, and he's just popping the skills just for a bit of fun. He knocks one down. Deadly Flourish will connect. That's a nice Monsoon to knock them away. Will not connect with the taunt, so a little bit of mispositioning, I think, from Morkavel there, or he's a little bit more disrespectful for the amount of damage that Toby could do, or the possibility of a collapse from Sled.
Oh, here comes another nice engage.
Just a two-man taunt, and Support Bra picks up the kill onto the AD carry, even though he used Flash. Sorry, onto the support, even though he used Flash, he used his heal. Can't keep his support alive, and Toby came in for good measure. And now they're just gonna try and take down this bottom tier 1 tower, and Karthus is gonna make his way down to this bottom side, but have to imagine this tower is gone.
Honestly, I feel like Krugs might have a mole in our Discord channel right now, because everything that I say that I want to see them doing, they've just come out of this pause and they're absolutely doing it. They're forcing advantages on this bot side. They went for an engage, Toby went for a gank in there, and they just absolutely popped him. Here comes a Requiem.
Ooh, is it enough?
Nope.
He doesn't use his W to get the shield, but it's not enough damage right now. Just has the Runic Echoes, he has the Sorcerer Shoes, the Amp Tome, building towards that Morella Nomicon. They will pick up the first tier, first brick gold in favor of the free Krugs, so that's going to help them out a bit. They have a 2,000 gold lead at the 15-minute mark. They're starting to get these one-item power spikes. Righteous Glory picked up for Soap on the top side, Luden's Echo for Slednex in the middle lane, and, of course, that Infinity Edge for Pongra.
Yeah, it's surprising to see this bot lane tower going down actually when mid was so low already, but they get that one fight that I was talking about and they push that advantage very well. They convert it into a turret, they stay very late, almost get punished by Morcavel, but he's not in a position to do anything about it. He's already had that Dark Harvest proc on the Requiem, didn't quite secure the kill on the Jarvan, so I guess, you know, the Cinderhulk did pay off there. I mean, it kept him alive there. If he had Warrior, he'd probably be dead, so fair play, Toby, I suppose. But yeah, this is the thing that I want to see out of them, and even going back earlier to when Morcavel was invading on that red buff, Slednex rotating so quickly, Morcavel, I think it might just been a little disrespect, not respecting how far ahead Slednex really is in this game. He is absolutely the strongest person on the Rift, probably stronger than any two others. This is going to be a little jungle fight here.
Superpra's on his own, will just Justice Punch it, in comes the teleport as well as the curtain call. Can they find something? Slednex picks up a kill, but will be traded back by Morcavel. They're looking for Artemis, will have to flash over the wall towards his tier 1 tower, and just trying to get some damage down, uses the Requiem, but not really gonna do much. It's not gonna pick up any kills, and now this is gonna be free Rift Herald for the side of free Krugs.
See, look at the vision around that topside jungle that free Krugs has put down. Anywhere they go, anywhere they are focusing, they are blanketing it in vision, which I love to see. They're going to get another neutral objective out of it. Sojin has a 50 CS lead on this Aurelia over the Scion, but I have not seen him do a darn thing this game. I want to see him have an impact on the game. He didn't have teleport ready for that fight, maybe using it to just secure even more lane advantage, but at some point he's going to have to join a fight, and I'm worried that it's going to be too late by the time he does, given how fast Slednex is accelerating free Krugs into this lead. They now have over 2k here. They've got that Rift Herald. That's pretty much another guaranteed turret for them. Dragon's coming up very shortly. It is another Infernal as well. They're definitely going to be prioritizing this. And then at that point, Slednex is going to be just one-shotting anybody he meets for the next, 10-15 minutes. So they're going to have to be very wary of this, but I don't think that LGM have the pressure to contest it. They really just need to knuckle down, try and get to this late game. Oh, Slednex going for the flash.
Oh, he flashed, but it doesn't really matter that he missed. But Sound Ignite isn't enough. It's ticking away. Will pick up the kill onto Mechanics. He missed the charm. The flash was a little bit unnecessary, but the Ignite, he just had the damage with the Luden's Echo, with the Sorcerer's Shoes. He has a 10-stack Dark Harvest, for heaven's sake. Ooh. He has the damage. That's a flash over the wall. Gets the ton onto 2. That's beautiful from your support, Bram. Morcavel doesn't know what hit him as he just gets erupted on the backside. Look at Sojin. He picks up a kill, uses his ultimate. We can't see what is going on really, but he flashes forward. Will he get the stun? He won't. Deadly Flourish comes through. Will maybe save his life. He will get away. Monsoon, just enough to save his life. He had just enough healing.
That was a fight where they didn't even have Slednex, and they were definitely in control of it for the most part. They managed to get that dragon secured as well. They take down Morcavel. Jinx, Pongra doing Pongra doing a respectable amount of damage on that Jhin. He has been very strong so far in this game. Sojin really wanted to connect that one, flashes in, doesn't get the stun, and then almost dies under that tower. Artemis with a timely Monsoon to save him there, overstepping his boundaries a little bit. Once again, as soon as I say something, it happens on screen, right? Sojin heard me, he says, alright, I'm going to get involved. We're going to have a dragon fight, I'm going to get right in here. does get himself a kill, but doesn't get the value that they need to get at this point. He's completed the Triforce, so he's getting towards that 2 item. He's got that first item spike, he's going to get that second one shortly. We'll have to see if he can have a bit more impact there, but that second Infernal Drake is going to be so valuable for the side of Free Krugs, Slednex especially. When he did that kill on Kai'Sa in the top lane, the Ahri special, the flash in, miss half your abilities, kill him anyway with ultimate charges, walk away, flash your mastery, easy game. Gets that tower as well, so he is an absolute monster right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go in here.
Yeah, he is going in here. He doesn't care about Slednex being Grandmaster. He's just like, no, come at me, bro. Give me my 6th kill of the game. Just ult in Orb of Deception. Doesn't even need the charm. Just, cool guys, don't look at exploding dead men.
He's just it. He's completed that Banshees as well, which is really important going up against this. He's so far ahead that he can just field basically a defensive item, and he's still one-shots you even faster. Just sees a person on the map, presses R and kills them. It's exactly what he needs to be doing. This is exactly how Free Krugs like to play. And honestly, if I didn't know any better, I would not be expecting to see the LGM team tag above the blue team in this map if I didn't know it.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be either. They've played so much cleaner than this. They played so much cleaner, especially with the Karthus earlier today. 13-2 on that Karthus. They took that win so cleanly, and now they're performing like as if they're being out-rotated, out-taught. They're playing like as if they're 5 steps behind the side of Free Krugs.
Yes, Sojin is the only one who's really stronger than his opponent. I think he's the only one who, in terms of strength, can match the side of Free Krugs. Obviously not Slednex, he's in a league of his own right now, but he has gone back to that split brush. He has another engage.
Yeah, he goes in with ultimate. He doesn't even need to. They're already dead. Curtain call, completely unnecessary. Slednex misses the charm, but will he pick up the kill anyway? Mechanics doesn't have much mana, but Artemis is kind of like, I want to take this fight, potentially, but no, it just goes forward with the ultimate. Doesn't even need it.
Mechanics living up to his name there, dodging out the E and the Q, the charm and the orb from Ahri, so Slednex does not get a second one, but he just goes in and with the ultimate from Pongra, this is the kind of stuff I was talking about in the pre-game, this is the use that he has, because now that they have Slednex, he's the guy who's going to be doing the damage here, and Jarvan as well to some extent to help locking them up. But Jhin can follow up on the CC so well from so far away. He gets that W, doesn't actually land it, but then uses the ultimate to get the slowing on those bullets, allowing Slednex to catch up and just obliterate Morkavel again. There's now 6 deaths on this Karthus. He is not feeling so hot right now. He's ground to a halt after such an aggressive start. And I think that right now they are just hemorrhaging gold to Slednex right now. Like the take of towers in the top lane, Sojin did take the second tower in the bot lane, it must be said. So he's gonna, I guess, maybe join the team now. Slednex looking for another one there. Ults in, but doesn't get anything secured. Can just back away. The cooldown is not very long in that ability. He's got the needlessly large rod. I want to see what he goes now. I want to see if he goes full, you know...
I think he's just going to go full Rabadons.
Full Rabadons? Yeah, I
do
want to see it.
As well, but I would love to see the Rabadons. He already has so much damage. There's nothing they can do against him. Already an item behind, or even more than that. It's 10,700 gold to 6,400 gold. He is 4,000 gold ahead of John 2 in this middle lane.
That is just offensive, honestly. And like the dragon, look at it on the wall. That's another Infernal. Here comes another engage onto Sojin.
We'll get a pick here onto Sojin. Deadly Flourish will lock him up. Gets the lockdown, but it's a 3 versus 1. Shut down with the File Whisper.
So Pongra getting a nice catch. Your support bro has been finding some very nice catches there on this Galio. Morkavel has gone to Dragon. They've swept this one out. They've got no vision, but they don't really have that much damage. And now I think the side of FEK smells something's up. They are rotating over, and LGM take the right call to get away. But there comes the ult. Slednex is coming through.
But 1. Can they follow this up though? So your support bro has the ultimate if they want to go deep into the enemy jungle.
No, he's going to chill out. He's not going to go for that Kai'Sa. Morkavel gets away with a sliver. Even just the Jhin ult's getting him very low. They don't quite get any kills there, but they stop the Baron. Now they can look towards this dragon. Jarvan is doing this one on his own right now. He's going to be pretty much uncontested. That's going to be a 3rd Infernal. Slednex is going to be even more of a monster. This is going to be helping Pongra so much when he can't maybe get as much consistent damage in melee range. It's going to make those ult shots even more deadly. Well, here comes the Requiem though. This might finish him off.
Yeah, they might be able to pick up the Feral Drake here. He just about survives, but Artemis Artemis just gets erupted. Doesn't matter if you have the Monsoon. Deadly Flourish will not be needed. That's the third Infernal Drake going over to free Krugs. They came in as the underdogs to this game. We were saying Lao Gan Ma, they have a timer that needs to be met. 23 minutes in, 13-3. They're making this game their own, and they're saying, you have to dance to our beat.
Man, I thought we had the level 12 Karthus, that's a level 2 ultimate, and he's got the Morellos completed. He's gonna have the Runic Echoes done, plus the Sword Shoes, but even that couldn't get through just the layers and layers of MR that Toby has been piling on here. He's got the Adaptive, Merc Treads, and the Cinder Hulk there for extra health. He did not even care. He just, I would thought for sure he was dead, but he lives. Artemis goes in to try and steal it or finish off Jarvan or something. Artemis maybe with the Ignite looking to finish off the Jarvan perhaps, but ends up just getting brutally sled nexted and loses the Monsoon for his trouble as well. Kai'Sa offers a W to try and take that dragon, but it's blocked out, and that is going to be, like I say, the third Infernal. So now it's getting even more in their favor. Sojin, as we've seen, isn't able to find any value. He's still just sitting in this side lane, chilling out. I mean, that's an impressive CS score, my dude, but I mean, your team is just getting smashed in this mid lane. Slednex going in again.
He doesn't need to do this. He goes in with his Spirit Rush again, doesn't quite have enough damage or doesn't quite hit enough skill shots to pick up the kill onto John too, but they're just making them run for their lives. Sojin, you're on the wrong side of the rift, my friend. Legendary kill coming through. That's 9-0 for Slednex. Pick up the top laner. They're onto the Baron. Is there anything? Actually, they're going to Fnatic Death Rush instead. They're going to maybe go for this tier 1 in the middle lane. They haven't picked up that many towers. They picked up 2 to 4. The onslaught comes through with the charm. Markafel, you're going away. See you later. Slipnex picks up a 10th kill of the game. That's the jungler gone. This is a free Baron if ever I've seen one.
Dudes, I mean, when Morkavel is dying, we haven't seen a full 5v5 team fight breakout yet. That was the closest we've gotten, as Cassiopeia was already chunked down to nothing and had the Summoners blown. She was not going to be doing anything in that fight. She goes half a mile within Slednex. He's just going to one-shot her at that point. And then Sojin TP's in, can't cancel it. The rest of the free Krugs turns around and just dogpiles him, as they are looking to try and contest
they can't contest it, they can't steal it. It would have to be a Void Seeker coming through.
No. So that is going to be Baron secured for the side of free Krugs. They're going to just work back to base, and look, those 2 needlessly large rods on Slednex. I think he's going to do it for us. He's going to give us that cap.
I think he is. I'm actually a little surprised that he didn't decide to go, you know what, I'm doing this well, go Medjai's.
Yeah, I think that it would be working out for him right now, but to be fair, I think Medjai's is always a bit of a meme purchase when you're could just go something like a Rabadon's or even the Spellbinders for a bit more different playstyle. At least it's more consistent that way. He does have the Dark Seal with fully stacked. He's had it the whole time, so it would have been quite easy for him to transition into that. We'll have to see if he makes it his last item. But he looks like he's maybe going to avoid Staff, getting this Blasting Mod ready to break through any MR that gets built. Currently, the side of LGM has, if we look down their MR, we've got 2 Merc Treads, and that is it. That is absolutely shocking to me that there is not more MR on the side of this team right now. But as we said in the pre-game, there's not that much scope to build tanky from this team, so it's kind of hard to itemize MR, and they're going to try and catch up support bra here. Oh, Slednex.
Yeah, he just Justice punches away. We'll get the ultimate down onto Slednex. He's going to be going in. He's going to be going down as well. Shutdown goal goes over to the Kai'Sa, and they're looking for more here. We'll be grounded with the Miasma, and he's going to be cut out. So has the flash available, but he will not burn it because the Kai'Sa would have been in his face, and Sojin's just going to deal with this zombie Scion now, and they're just giving up what lead they had. There was 4,000 gold, now it's a 3,000 gold lead. They cannot keep throwing.
That was, we finally saw them get a bit too excited there. Slednex went in, he did not have the vision to support going into the jungle like that. When he's in the lane, we've got a lot more general vision around, and you have a lot more confidence of where they're going to be, but all the people from LGM in that one brush on the bottom side, there was no vision there, and they went in to try and finish them off, but Sojin was actually there from the beginning this time. He manages to lock them up, gets chasing in, Galio ult does not come in early enough, Kai'Sa manages to finish that off, and 1,000 bounty goes in the Kai'Sa's pocket. That is so important for this Kai'Sa to get her catching up with this Jhin, as she is going to be the one winning in this late game, but here comes an ultimate chasing down.
Call flashed by Toby, we'll use the Cataclysm, we'll be locked down, we'll be going down. The shutdown goal goes over to Toby, Requiem, but he used not much, just on time. Another half a second, he would have been going down to the Requiem, one would have to assume, even with just the Runic Echoes and the Morellonomicon. But they're just getting these picks now. They took the pick onto the Kai'Sa. They're showing just because you got an extra 1,000 gold in your pocket doesn't mean that you're a god. So they just take him out, and that did bring him up to the level of gold that Pangra has with those 2 kills. And even though he's behind on some CS, he's behind on actually quite a lot of CS, he's still ahead on the gold.
Yeah, they shake off that lost Slednex and the death from Soap. They shake it off, they come back in, they've still got the gold lead. They know they can find picks, they've been doing it so well here, and they've got another Cloud Drake now to help with that. Plus, the in-combat movement speed, importantly, that is now on Cloud is going to be very helpful for people like Pongra to get away from Sojin, who is now showing up to fights on time. He is such a mobile character that being able to get away from him is going to be very important. The longer you can live, the more you force him to dive deeper and deeper into your team, the easier it is to kind of close the jaws around him as they did earlier when he TP'd in too early. So I really like these Clouds. They've got pretty much the best Drakes that they could have hoped for in this game. And now I want to see them complete another tower in the mid lane, and I want to see how they get into base, because that is going to be hard to break into this one. The Cassiopeia is very good at cleaning out minions, the Akarthus as well, but they are very squishy still. So I think we're going to have to see a dive come out of Free Krugs at some point, and it's going to be so important how they execute this. Karthus loves to be dived, does not give an absolute flying F about it, and Sojin with the ultimate can, you know, duck and dive in. The Janna gets a huge amount of value as well, monsooning you behind your own the enemy tower. So it's going to be very much in Free Krugs' corner to not mess up the execution here, because they have these Infernals. They can pop someone if they get on them, and Slednex is on that side looking for a pick. We'll have to see if you can find one.
They definitely have the tools to make a tower dive possible. 2 Gargoyle Stone Plates on Toby and Soap. Even though they have a lot of disengage from the side of Lao Gan Ma, they have the ultimate, the Monsoon from Artemis. They have the slow from the Vanguard's Edge from Sojin as well, so they can slow them down and lock them underneath that tower. And the Miasma as well to prevent them from flashing away. So it might be a little bit risky, but they have the tools to be able to do it. But they decide, nope, we're just going to back away, shove out the waves. We have a wave pushing into our inhib tower. We're just going to play the macro as best as we can, not taking any fights that we might lose.
Yeah, we see the wave clear coming out very strong there. There's not really much siege potential unless they can actually get a kill, which they decide not to do. They had a wave crashing on the bot side. They choose to go back, complete some more buys. Baron is up in under a minute. If they can secure this one, that should be the key to get them inside the base. Then they will actually be able to siege it up here, and they can be a lot more aggressive in their positioning when they know that the minions are going to form a more solid barrier around them. So they can look more for these Slednex picks and the engages from the side of your support Bra or Jarvan, or even the Sionol, which they've used as well. So they've set up this vision. You can see them swarming over this area. There's pinks going out everywhere. They're doing the Free Krugs thing. They are blanketing it in vision, and it is going to be absolutely up to LGM to try and broach this one, and they have to be so scared of this, because anyone steps out of line, they are getting popped.
Yeah, and it looks like they want to pop Morcovel. He's going to take his Grump freely, but they know that he was around that top side because of that Pixel Brush ward by the blue buff. And now it looks like they're just still preparing this Baron, which is up in 5 seconds. Morcovel is backing. He has a Requiem available. It won't help him steal the Baron. Might help them push off of the Baron. And it looks like they're actually starting it up.
They might actually, looks like they're kind of giving it away. Sojin is on the far side of the map trying to get that wave in. Morcovel recalled. Oh my goodness!
Oh, that is so disgusting to see. He's going double kill! He has a 1 versus 4! In comes the grand entrance from your support Bra just to make sure that he gets out alive. He used the Ignite, took down 2 with them. Sojin is pushing into that inhib tower. He doesn't really have much of a wave. Will be knocked up with a Baron, so that cancelled the TP. You don't really have to back at this point. You could have just stayed, waited for the Baron to be taken down, used the Baron empowered recall. Couldn't take that tower on the bottom side because of the fact that the Baron was going down. They all have these empowered recalls and didn't want to face the entire Free Krugs team 1-on-4, 1-on-5. Now Morcovel is caught out here, will be hit with Orb of Deception, and even just on the way out, it took him down to 2/3 health.
Man, Mechanics and Artemis making the mistake of stepping into their top side jungle, I guess, when the Baron is being fought. Slednex comes in and just absolutely devastates them both. And then they secure that Baron. Sojin does get that tower, it must be said, and Soap getting kind of memed by the Baron there, starting the recall behind the Baron. Not sure why he would insist on standing behind the Baron there. Maybe just focusing on, he's got his map tabbed over to where Sojin is. He's not looking underneath his feet. So does get punished there, loses the teleport importantly, but they do secure this Baron. So now we're going to have to see if they can break out the base in the way that I was talking about earlier. I think that part of the reason that they've gotten this far and they've managed to keep Morkavel down so well and they've been doing so well in these fights is that they're killing him first, and they're killing him in picks. They're not taking big fights. Slednex and Jin have been really picking them out so that he's dead and there's no chance to Requiem at that point because, you know, you die and no one's even low. So if he uses it, all he's going to do is lose a cooldown. So he's not been able to get nearly as much value out of this Requiem. He can't be using it to stack up the Dark Harvest. I don't actually know the last time I saw him get a Dark Harvest stack. He's not been able to get anything done so far. And this massive wave, Baron empowered with 2 cannons here, this is going to start chipping away at this tower, and they can just sit back and let the minions do the work. Janna Shield's going to try and hold it off a little bit, but the onus is absolutely on LGM to find a solution here.
Yeah, if you're LGM, you're not in a happy position. Look at the cannon minions just doing so much damage and you can't step up to the wave because support res just gonna punch you in the face with a fistful of justice, and you have to engage from Soap as well, you have to engage from Toby. They're just gonna take this inhib freely. Mount Drake is available as well. They can rotate towards that. They can rotate towards the tier 2 in the middle lane. It looks like they are going to go for that Mountain Drake to aid with the sieging. But what can you do on the side of Lao Gan Ma at this point? You're 4,000 gold behind. You're starting to get these 4-5 item power spikes on the side of free Krugs. And as we saw earlier, we saw Slednex just wipe out, just body Mechanics and Artemis.
Yeah, Slednex, he has died once at least. We've seen that they are able to catch him out at that one point when he wasn't quite with his team. Though the fact that Free Krugs are now moving into this 5-man unit because they have the Baron. They know they can use the siege there. I don't know how LGM can start a fight that they can actually win. Because in terms of engage, you've got Sojin flank, and that is absolutely it. They have no other engage here. Their team is so good at, you know, fending off dives if they weren't 4,000 or 5,000 gold behind perhaps. But, you know, they have the tools to maybe pull that off. But now that the Baron is there, there's no requirement for Free Krugs to do this, so they can just sit there. We don't have to engage. We can just throw out Slednex abilities, and maybe if he catches you, you'll instantly die. And then there's no solution for Lao Gan Ma to get in and start a favorable fight at this point. So this calls back once again to the pregame. We were talking about that their team comp's a little bit more solo queue. It doesn't really have as many options. It's not really got the tools to deal with being behind, which they absolutely are right now. It's interesting to see as well that the Mountain Drake came out, so once they're super far ahead now. They know they can one-shot everybody. We don't necessarily need damage anymore. You know what we need to do? We need to siege. Oh look, here's a Mountain Dragon just popped up on the map just to help us with this. You know, the Riot Gods coming down to
yeah, the RNG gods were just like, let's bless these free Krugs because everyone loves Krugs.
Everyone loves them, dude. They're free or not, we all love the Krugs. No one can deny. Even Morkavel, we saw his icon, you know.
Yep.
So now they are.
Morkavel, we see you. No, we know what's really going on, and look, he's attacking the Krugs already. He loves the Krugs.
Goodness.
They give him free gold.
Just can't get away. Can't get away from him. So now the Baron has run out. It's coming back up in a minute 40, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. The inhib is down, so Free Krugs can use that pressure to try and push another lane. But I'm not surprised if they would just set up, go for more picks, and then just wait for the Baron to come up again. Because we've hit 37 minutes now. We're past the point where I figured the timer would be hitting, but they're just so far ahead. And Morkavel he's got 3 items now, finally, and then Cassiopeia is just hitting 3 as well. Kai'Sa has a little bit more to offer because she's been getting very respectable farm this game. Sojin as well, he's got a really impressive farm figure, but they don't have enough yet to challenge, and I think it's going to be, you know, the timer that's supposed to be running out keeps getting reset and pushed back 5 minutes and 5 minutes and 5 minutes, and I think if another Baron falls the way of Free Krugs, that's going to be it for this game, because they are just going to be able to shove it in, and there's nothing that LGM are going to do to stop them. So in this short window, while they don't have Baron, they need to try and think of something to do, or potentially find a new way to approach the Baron pit when Free Krugs inevitably rotate over to it. I'm not sure what that needs to be, but they've got to think of something.
And this Karthus, who's meant to be one of these late game carries, and I actually have a little bit of a lag there for a couple of seconds, so hopefully I'm still on time at 38 minutes there. But the Karthus that's meant to be this late game carry, get the snowball, get the stacks, he's at 7 stacks of Dark Harvest. You're expecting 20, 25, 30 stacks of Dark Harvest around the 38, 40 minute mark, and he just doesn't have the stacks that's necessary to start to do this damage. Baron will be live in 4 seconds. They are going to take this for free, easy peasy, and even if they need to, there's an Elder Dragon that's going to be spawning.
Oh my, you know what? We haven't even touched on the Elder Dragon right now. But I mean, these guys are going to have to change their name to Free Barons at this point, because that is the next one they've taken, no contest whatsoever. And I mean, the Elder Dragon's coming up in a minute. They can probably go to top lane, and with Slednex in the mid lane here. Notably, Slednex is now separated from the team, so they might be able to look to try and catch him out. But I think anyone who tries to catch him out at this point might just get the head kicked off. And the Baron minions are going to come in here. We're going to see if they break up another tower. But you're absolutely right. They can rotate to this Elder Dragon. And it is a 6 dragon stacked Elder Dragon with 3 Infernals. Like, I feel like Slednex could genuinely 1v5. If he has Elder Dragon, he would just, every ability would one-shot every single member of the enemy team.
I was actually about to say, when you said they might be able to catch out Slednex since he was separated from the team, he was in the middle lane alone. But I was thinking, but if you send 3, 4, 5 members, Slednex might get 2 kills and give up his life.
Yeah, and then they lose the top tower, having to commit all the pressure to there. So their bot inhibitor has respawned finally. Sojin has been doing an excellent job at keeping that bot wave pushed out, and is going to keep pushing towards the side of the actually exposed inhibitor of Free Krugs. So I would not be surprised if they push this wave in. Soap has gone actually clear that one out. So it's only 4 people here. This is potentially an opportunity for the side of LGM, but look at the way they're positioning. They're so far back, they're so scared to walk up, and they can barely even get up to these cannon minions, and rightly so, because you saw Sojin step about 3mm in front of the tower line, and he gets chunked down to 30%. He has to go back to base now, and the Baron is still here. It's still ticking away. It's still chunking down this top tower. It's not looking like LGM know what they want to do here. They're still just trying to turtle it out, and then in theory, when it gets to 70 minutes, they'll probably be stronger than Free Krugs, you know, technically.
Yeah, maybe.
Technically.
But at 40 minutes, 30 seconds into the game,
they are not.
We have Sion in the bottom lane. He's just free pushing because you can't defend this in the top side. You have a free inhib pretty much just waiting there for Soap to take it. They're waiting for the Baron Empowered cannon minions just to do their thing and push in this tower. And as you said, they're struggling to get to these cannon minions, and it's just chunking out the tower slowly but surely. Wall of Pain will just do nothing, throws out the charm just because they'll get a free kill if they catch anyone with it. And the Janus shield is trying its best, but it's not doing a lot to try and defend this.
Sojin going down to maybe take a fight against Soap here. He has called him out, but the Baron minions are so strong.
Oh, look at this damage. He's not even hitting him. Now he is. Vanguard's Edge comes through. GA is available, but so is Unstoppable Onslaught. Will he use it? It will be used. Will be blocked. Force the flash out of Soap, but they committed 2 to that bottom side. Now they only have 3 to defend here. Will be losing an inhib tower in the top side as my Spectator client lags a little bit there. And they will be taking this inhib in the top side for free as Sion is just gonna whack on the bottom side inhib. They need the rest of Lao Gan Ma to respond to this push in the top side from Free Krugs. Now they're just gonna rotate around the map.
I looked away to look back to the top lane. Oh my word, he is gone. And there goes the Requiem, and nobody cared. Okay, so now we saw Soap 2v1 bot lane having to run away. He didn't even die. I looked back top lane to see if they would take the tower. He didn't even die, and then he walks back and gets the bot inhib as well. So they don't lose anything off this. The Requiem is now down, so if anyone gets low, they can't finish them off. And Artemis just got absolutely monstered by Slednex, to no one's surprise, and this is going to be the 3rd inhib going down. Oh, flash in!
That is the flash in, Petrifying Gaze as well. Gonna do a lot of damage, but Justice Punch comes through as well. On the backside, Kai'Sa's trying to do a lot of work. In comes the Heroic Entrance, will be shut down. Gold going over to Slednex. Not that he really needs it, but that will be mechanics going down. So that's 2 members on the side of Lao Gan Ma that are dead. They have 2 inhibs down, an exposed inhib in the middle lane, which has been taken as well. Now they're just gonna go and take the Elder Dragon.
It was a valiant effort there by John 2. He does go in, he gets a very nice stun. He does reasonable damage as well to the members of FEK who are inside that base wall. Sojin dives into that backline, but he's so separated, as I said earlier. He's the only one in. Everyone else is sitting back trying to pump out safe range damage. and then Free Krugs just retreat back, they close the jaws around him, and they crush him. Galio ult comes down, knocks him up, and that is going to be it for him. The third inhib goes down off the back of that fight. They're now just looking towards this Elder Dragon, so we're going to see the premium third impact critical mass FEK team comp here, as they have now got full items on Slednex. He's even gone for the Zhonya's, so he's got 2 defensive options, and he's still smashing through everybody. Pongra has all of his items completed except for those 2 pink wards and 2 pink wards on your support, Bri. You can see them both investing in Vision so much. It's done so much work for this game. Here comes Slednex.
Yep, doesn't land the charm, uses the Monsoon and the Flash to get away, goes in with the ultimate. Kaisa has the Guardian Angel, but is that enough? Will land with the last shot of the curtain call, and Elder Dragon will be going down to the side of the Krugs and almost took out Slednex there.
Yeah, Mechanics does commit to that fight, and to his credit, almost kills Slednex, but the Zhonya's he just completed, instantly becoming value. He flashes away, lives on a sliver, still gets that Elder Dragon bonus, and now they are 5-man up. They can just walk in, they've got double super minions coming in, 6-man Elder. This is going to be a bloodbath, I feel, in their favor, and we'll have to see if LGM can pull out some sort of spectacular miracle in the next 1 minute or so.
Don't see that happening. They're down by so much gold. They're down by 6,000 gold. It's not the biggest lead that we've seen in Square 1 so far, but it is a lot. And
wow, amazing.
Does literally no damage.
Nothing to anybody.
Literally no damage.
That is the saddest sight I've seen all game, honestly. They're coming in with the Elder, the Requiem comes down, nobody even blinks, and now that is just another thing gone there. And they're cleaning up the minions, pushing the waves in here. Sojin has rejoined the team, and they can just wait for these super minions.
2 Guardian Angels, but that just means I'll kill you again from the side of Krugs. And that's just what they're doing. They're just waiting for the minions to come through, the super minions. They have 6 super minions that will be conga lining into the base. The minions don't care whatsoever, and neither do the side of Free Krugs. And that's a lot of damage from Pongra onto this Nexus tower, and John 2 is trying his best to do something, will be tagged with the Deadly Flourish just to stun him up, but they're just grasping at straws at this point, and Slednex gonna take down the first Nexus tower. Wall of Pain is huge, but it's not gonna do a lot except for slowing a little bit. Now, Super Minions are gonna go onto the tower here. Out comes the curtain call. Will not be able to do very much. Slednex will take down the Janna, just popping him left, right, and center. Uses the ultimate. Can he do anything here? And Guardian Angels are going to be popped on either side. The scope is so tanky here. Morkovel trying his best, but will just be punched in the face by Soap. The Mechanic's going to try and get away. Shutdown goal goes over to Soap. There's actually 3 members on the side of Krugs that are going to go down. As Sojin trying his best, but he will be taken out by Kobe eventually. Shutdown goal goes over to him, but he almost has a full build as well. So John 2 going to chase this up. He has only his... He only has that Comet, so no speed. He goes down to the passive.
So damn it all, LGM did it. They lived. They pulled off the H2K defense, and they live in this game. As you were saying when they were coming into the base, the goal difference was only 5k. That was actually really surprising to me, given how much in Free Krugs' favor this game seems to have gone. Only a 5k difference is incredibly minimal, and now the Baron is live. Mechanics is on it. The death timers are so long for the side of Free Krugs. They need to try and scope this one out. Soap needs to click this happening, because if they get the Baron in the favor of LGM, that could be how this game stabilizes. 2 inhibitors are already up. There's no double super minions. Only 1 lane of super minions is definitely doable. Here he comes.
Unstoppable Onslaught uses the Requiem as well. Artemis is the target now. Will be helping out with the Baron as Soap is going to try and do something.
Still hitting the Baron?
Knock with the Q. Yeah, he's just focusing it. He wants to take that for himself. Can it be stolen away? Oh, support back couldn't do it. Oh, it gets taken away by Fennex. That is not what you want to see if you're Lao Gan Ma. Picks up the shutdown gold as well. Not that he needed it once again because he is full build, but Slednex took the Baron. You needed to help out Artemis there.
Dude, Slednex, that's a slash FF, dude. Slednex, what the last thing that he could do to cement his impact on this game, he even takes that Baron as Mechanics desperately tries to finish it. Can't secure it. That would have been so big for them if they could stall them out of the base using their banner, their Baron minions that they can use to hide behind to maybe fend off the engagers. They can sit safely back, but now it's just going to be an absolute disaster for them. There's no Elder, but the Baron minions. Here comes the flash.
Oh, that's a flash with the Petrifying Gaze, and Cleanse will be used by the AD carry as Pongra is the target of Sojin here, who will survive for a little bit longer, gets the knockup with the Grand Entrance, and Sojin will be going down, eventually just punched in the face, and Toby will get the last knock to get the kill. And now this has to be the end of the game. You could do it before, you could stem the bleeding, but you don't have your AD carry, and Lao Gan Ma goes down to free Krugs.
Oh my word, what a game! What a game! Such strong performances from Free Krugs there. They did it. Their first 3 wins were pretty low-level teams. They weren't as exciting, but they were super dominant. They did lose against SDS and LEG, the more mid-tier teams, and then they go up against LGM. They are sitting at the top of our power rankings right now, and they just said, we don't even care. Slednex puts the carry pants on, goes 17, 2, and 5. With 370 CS, absolutely destroys at this game. What a performance.
He says 13 and 2, hold my beer, I can do better than that.
Exactly.
And he just did 17 and 2. That is mind-blowing, but one has to look at it that they should have been able to finish it earlier. But how did they get the snowball of a lead? It just seemed to almost come out of nowhere. If you were even half paying attention to the game, you're just like, oh wait, Slednex dominating in the early game somehow, even though we expected it to be a little bit more back and forth. And then he just has so much damage out of nowhere, even though he had no items. Got the solo kill twice or 3 times onto John 2. And then from there, he just dominated the game.
Yeah, if we look at the damage graph that you can see here, this definitely plays into the team comp styles here. We see that all 4 of the damage dealers from LGM are relatively even in their damage. They're all contributing very evenly. Everyone's being very teamwork. It's all great. But then you look at the side of FEK, where they only really have 2 damage threats, but their 2 damage threats are doing mountains, just mountains of damage, and they are absolutely doing it in the right ways. Slednex was doing so much damage by picking off Morcavel so many times early, and mechanics as well, getting so many early kills to mean that the big 5v5 fights that potentially LGM were looking to have, that they could actually win, and we did see them win a couple of them in that game. They barely ever got a chance to have them because they were always at a disadvantage due to the plays from Slednex and also from Pongra's ultimates, catching people out, and Toby's J4 there, surviving, not giving away kills, went that tank build, he made it work, he's getting good value to set up kills for Slednex. So many people just did exactly what they needed to do for this team comp to win, and this, like I say, if we took the LGM sticker off here, I'd be like, oh, this was probably Free Krugs' game against, Korean rejects, right?
Well, maybe not that bad, but maybe UE. Sorry, UE, but...
But my goodness, that is crazy. So now LGM, that's the second stumble for them, and admittedly, this was a sub roster. They did have a sub jungle. I mean, he's a grandmaster jungle, but he's a sub jungle, and they had this switch from Artemis into support. He did have some good plays, some good saves on the Monsoon, but more often than not, we were seeing him just getting blown up by Slednex. I mean, there's not a huge amount you can do about that necessarily as a Janna, but the vision from Free Krugs was just absolutely in a class of its own there. And I think that that's the kind of thing that, the support in general is usually earlier on in the game. It's more on them to get consistent vision around in the mid game. They're the ones who need to set up the vision so the carries can go and play. Obviously, the onus is on everybody on LGM to do that, but I think that it's your support bra was doing a lot more work for that, and LGM in general were just buying so many pinks. You saw in the inventory of Pongra, when he has 5 completed items, he's not buying a 6th item. He's got 2 pink wards in there, and he is getting value out of both of them. And I really love to see that. Given how often they were going for picks, their vision was absolutely stellar this game.
And Support Bra still has a control ward in his inventory, even at the end of the game, 48 minutes in. He's still prioritizing that vision, and it really spoke to how well they dominated the map, how Toby knew where to be when, and how Slednex could invade into the jungle as well. It's how he got that double kill against Mechanics and Artemis, because he knew he had the freedom to be in that part of the jungle. He knew that even though the Karthus could have been there, even though the rest of the team from the side of Lao Gan Ma could have been there as well, he knew that he had the potential to get these picks because of the vision coverage.
Yeah, and as we've seen, as it's been spoiled in the chat here, Toby is a silver player, matched up against a Grandmaster jungler. And
well, that's what it says. I'm guessing Smurf. I have to call Smurf.
Yeah, that's get the SWAT teams in here. That's a Smurf confirmed, because I guess that definitely justifies more into the tank build path. It's less mechanically based, and he was just kind of going a lot more. Maybe his team is going, I want to do Dragon now, so he's going, okay, I'll go put some wards down Dragon, clear my path, come to Dragon, and we can help you guys. And then he's maybe very much supporting, setting up plays for his carries, which worked incredibly well. He wasn't the one shouldering all of the carrying burden, and like, oh my goodness, he absolutely made it work there, as did the rest of Free Krugs.
So Sledneck's MVP for that game?
I mean, yes.
You kind of have to.
We can just, I don't know how much discussion we need to go over here, but I mean, I don't want to diminish the work of the rest person in their team, but Slednex was just the superstar this game. Playing that, I don't know if it was Superstar Ari skin, I think it was the KDA one, but he is absolutely the front and center member of that boy band.
Yeah, he's definitely that pop star that can just dance in front of everyone and just look really cool. But they weren't playing like as if they were a 3-2 team, now 4-2.
Yeah,
they were playing like as if they were the top of the rankings and they know how good they are.
Playing like they were 70-0, making that 80-0 at the end of the split is how they were playing. They had so much confidence there. Okay, so speaking out standings here, if we go to the standings, this brings them to 4-2, I believe. This drops Lao Gan Ma to 4-2 as well. Yeah. So if we're talking about people who are at the top, Royal Reapers did take over Glorious Gaming. They both moved to 4-1 after the first game as well. I'm not actually sure who. I imagine at least one of them will have won their next games, because I think Royal Reaper is up against Prototype, I believe. So we'll have to see how the standings look there. But now I think we can confidently say that Free Krugs definitely deserve to be in the top side of that mid, probably going into the lower part of the top tier teams after a performance like that, because that was just so good, and they had so much confidence going into there. Obviously, they did get quite an early lead based off Slednex. If maybe he wasn't 7-0 by 7 seconds into the game, you know, we'd have to see how they could play from a deficit, because they haven't really had to do that in any of their victories. All of their victories have been absolute Goomba stomps. But I mean, if you can just always get ahead early to have a Goomba stomp, then you don't need to play from behind, right?
Well, I can tell you that both Royal Reapers and Glorious Gaming did win their other games, so they are gone to
5-1. Is that then for them?
5-1 each.
Sure.
Yep.
So that's a very strong top 4 teams, I think we can now comfortably say, from what we've seen here today. I am really excited about how the playoffs are shaping up. Obviously, we're still very early in. The playoffs are a long way away. But with teams performing like this, I think we can be confident that at least 3 out of those 4 teams are going to be in there around the top end, because they are really distinguishing themselves.
Definitely, and I'd love to keep my eyes on Free Krugs and Lao Gan Ma, especially because Free Krugs coming into this obviously were the underdogs of the matchup. We were thinking Lao Gan Ma is at the top of our power rankings, has been since the start, and they were coming in at the top of the ladder as well. So they're the ones that we kind of, they're kind of the ones that we wanted to keep an eye on. Then Free Krugs, they were kind of like this dark horse, just comes out of nowhere and just dominates the ones that we thought were one of our best teams. So I'd like to keep my eye on them. I think they're quite the opposite of Resident Sleeper. They're a little bit of a Pog champ, I think.
A little bit of massive Pog champ right there.
A little bit of a massive Pog champ. If Slednex gets on that Ari or gets on some other pick that he's really comfortable on and keeps putting up performances like that, then they're going to be a really good team and contenders for first place.
Yeah, it's important to note, we had the league table on screen there, that SDS Sea Dogs Esports have moved to 4-2 as well, and they actually beat Free Krugs in their game against them. It wasn't a stomp, but it was definitely a solid win for them. And SDS, I think, are a little less of the balls out style. They're a little less roll over you. They're a little bit more considered, a little bit more I guess considered would be the word. Yeah. So they do play a different style, and it did seem to work for them against Free Krugs, not allowing them to get too early, to get ahead too early, I should say. So there's definitely a lot of dark horses, I guess we should say, or contenders looking up to prove themselves against these other top teams now that Free Krugs have shown they can bleed.
Well, that will be it from us. Unfortunately, we have crowned Slednex our MVP for that game, but we will be back on Tuesday the 19th for our first stream game, being Korean Rejects versus Prototype. So we will see you guys on Tuesday. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching, guys.